Let's have a laugh party.
In a world of remakes and remasters,
Are we playing for keeps?
what was once sacred and cool has now soured and become lame.
Radical.
Gone are the days of pods and cowabunga. Now is the reign of slurp juice and dabs. Kids these days don't even know how bad they've got it. Now it's up to the best generation to rise to the occasion and make a show that dares to go where a lot of other nerdy shows have already gone quite a bit. That's right. They're going to talk about it a lot.
Hello and welcome to the show, everyone. This is Best Gen, where nerds complain about nerdy things. It's called Best Gen because we are all roughly from the same gen, and we happen to think that it's the best. Not because we as people are better than you, but because our entertainment was. So strap on in and prepare to wax nostalgic as we reminisce upon the days of yore whilst complaining and nitpicking relentlessly the movies that are coming out of Hollywood's butt today. If you've read the title, I honestly legitimately forgot that The Flash dropped this week. I had no idea until I was creating the thumbnail for the show. And I was like, oh yeah, that movie's out. Because I saw some people online talking about it. Have we watched The Flash? I certainly have not. Because it looks really bad.
I actually made the decision that I since I'd only ever seen Man of Steel once forever ago and the Wonder Woman movies, I'm like, I should probably watch some more of these DCEU movies. And so, but I decided
they don't matter anymore. You don't need to watch them.
True, but I'm a completionist.
They're
I like to see the whole thing.
They'll
They'll all lead into this one, even if they'll then end up being retconned, probably mostly, except for maybe everything except for Superman. Anyway, so I started though. I went back and I decided, I don't think I've ever sat down and watched Batman 1989, and so I sat down and watched Batman in 1989 as well, which was quite fun and quite good. And so I've still got to get through Forever, and I want to watch some of the other ones that aren't actually Michael Keaton, but yeah. So that'll be a fun journey that I can share as we go along. That I'll be catching up on some of these other DC tangent movies.
Val Kilmer's the best Batman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you saw did you watch the deleted scenes from Batman and Robin? Was it Batman and Robin? Yeah.
Batman and Robin is George Clooney.
No, never mind. What was it?
Val Kilmer is Batman Forever.
Forever?
Yes.
Yeah.
Forever.
Then Returns, then Forever, then
just the one.
Yeah.
Best Batman, best soundtrack.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I do have to say,
and
Michael
it's
Keaton's,
friggin' Two-Face,
Batmobile is
baby.
pretty friggin' sweet too.
Yeah, one of the best villains as well. I was like
Two-Face
literally
and
10
Riddler.
minutes. I was 10 minutes from watching The Flash. The movie theater is literally like 1 minute from my home, and I just needed to go in to the actual, screening. But then I saw the CGI on Twitter, and I saw that they put Christopher Reeves with CGI.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm not giving money to this movie. Not at all.
And the old Batgirl too.
Mhm.
Sorry,
Supergirl.
Supergirl.
Yeah.
Huh.
Which is like, dude, like that guy's dead, and not only that, but he went through a lot with, in his life for you to be using
Yeah.
his dead image, what's disgusting.
He is also on record
So-
saying he hates soulless reboots and sequels. He didn't want to do Superman 4.
Yeah. Well, Superman 4 is
Yeah.
probably the worst of all the Superman.
Well, rest in
I've
peace.
not heard
rest
good
in
things
peace,
about
Harry.
most of them beyond one and the Donner cut of 2. I think was, I don't know, something like that.
I did see the
2 is amazing. Yeah.
I did see the burrito scene on Twitter before it was taken down for copyright violation. Oh boy, it's it's bad. They try and do the whole
Quicksilver.
the
Shawarma or
Quicksilver
something?
Quicksilver time has stopped because I'm going so fast scene. And he pauses to microwave a burrito, and then and then eats it like this. He goes like this. He goes to eat it.
But also the microwaves are not gonna run
Yeah,
as
and then
fast as he does.
and then he puts a baby in a microwave.
What?
He puts the baby in the microwave, dude.
What?
There's
really?
for some
I thought that
reason,
was-
I don't know the
that was a joke.
context. For some reason there's
Yeah,
an
literally.
explosion. For some reason there's an explosion and there's
Oh,
a bunch of babies flying everywhere. And so he opens a microwave, grabs a burrito, eats it like that. It's extremely off-putting. And
I
then
know the context.
he puts the baby in the microwave and closes it. And to
Yeah, what happened
save
is
the
that
baby.
what
I
happened
think
is
it's
that
it's
there was
like
an
a nuking the
explosion.
fridge sort of situation.
What
where
happened?
it's like-
No. What happened is there was a situation where there was an explosion in the infant ward in the hospital. So he
Ah.
threw the babies on purpose into the air, and he threw a dog, a guardian dog, and a nurse, so she could take care of them. But because he's going too fast, and the problem here is that they try to think that they were smarter than the actual Quicksilver scene. So they thought, okay, if you're going that fast, you cannot touch anything because you're going to disintegrate it, which makes sense. But it makes sense. So he couldn't touch them, so was just throwing them around, throwing things around them, so he wouldn't touch them. So that's why he put the baby in the microwave. He threw the baby away with the creep, and when he was falling, he
But it's
put
not
the
going to
baby in
change the
microwave.
momentum of
Yes,
the
man,
baby.
I know, I know. It's brain.
Wow.
The baby is going to crash in that microwave like it was freaking, I don't know, again like a burrito. He was brain dead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Oh.
wild.
No, it looked so like the stuff that it was in the trailers. All like the CGI was already looking pretty bad,
Mhm.
and then I saw those leaks and some stills.
Oh,
It's
and
like,
all the
ooh.
CGI babies all have CGI faces, and all they look worse
no.
than Twilight.
Oof.
They look worse than the CGI baby in Twilight, bro. So we
Also-
have to
Oh
apologize for that.
gosh.
I didn't know it was legal to let Ezra Miller get that close to that many babies.
It's not. That's why they are CGI babies. I
Oh,
don't
they're
think
CGI.
those are actual
Yeah,
babies.
that's right.
Yeah, I think that literally they are like body bags, like green body bags. He cannot be. Yeah,
Yep.
he cannot be that close to babies.
Also, this was probably filmed before all of this allegations came out that are
most.
Or
pretty
most likely during.
verifiable.
David.
Yeah, during.
Mark Clark wants to
I
know
don't
when
know.
Bearded is creating his YouTube channel.
Yeah,
Um,
I was just responding that. Yeah, I've created the actual channel, but I'm not doing anything with it yet. I got to do some branding and put some things
He's
together.
got the
for it, not
name.
to mention,
He's
I
got the
do have
name locked in.
It exists. So
What was the name? They
um,
posted something.
Nerdvana Entertainment.
Very
Nerdvana
good.
Entertainment. So, and then I'll probably end up doing like a segment that'll be bearded optimism. Will be what I'm going for with that. So
That's what should be.
I'll
You should
give
like,
Mark
the
Clark
full,
a kickback.
whole video just
on
doing this with your beard.
Yeah, just the whole time.
Just,
I mean, you
just-
see me doing that all the time anyway. It's always like it looks scragglier on the screen than I want it to, but whatever.
so now, Jared, it's just up to you.
yeah.
You can
Everybody
quit
got
My
your own channel.
advice,
Come on
yeah,
now.
my advice would be don't think about it that much and don't overthink it, and just do shorts. Like
We-
don't even try to do full videos. Just do shorts.
Mhm.
We,
Honestly, my main thing, in order to avoid having to worry about any kind of editing, is I'm probably just going to do live so that I don't have to edit it out and just be like, all right, it's up there and it's done. I'm just going to leave it.
Yeah.
But
we
we'll
all
see.
have
I don't know, we'll
YouTube
see what
channels.
happens.
We all have YouTube channels now, Jared. You just need to quit your brand spanking new architecture job in Salt Lake. Make YouTube videos.
You know, the great thing about YouTube is that it can be passive income, so I can do both. Right? I could have a YouTube about architecture, right?
So-
So I could,
Someone doesn't have the confidence to quit his job and start a YouTube channel. Everybody.
It's
some of us,
hard. It's
some of us
hard.
don't have the option to quit their jobs.
But it's
Some of us-
still hard to get to that point.
Some of us just get fired and then resort to
Yeah.
YouTube.
Some of us have that option made for us. Yep.
Choice is given for you. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh. Yeah.
So the movie,
I don't think I've seen any videos still. Am I
Yeah.
just missing them?
No, I haven't posted any videos lately either. But you know, with me being recently jobless, I have some time on my hands now. So
There you
in
go.
between throwing my resume out there, I might just edit a couple of
Yeah.
videos.
keep doing top tens and things like that. Top
Yeah.
fives. Those really work. I believe.
They do.
Those are really entertaining to watch. Nostalgia.
Yep.
Anger Mexa just dropped a new video. Talking
Oh,
about
did you?
Disney's
You-
Primos.
Yeah. You
But
gotta go
hold
watch
up. I pulled up my internet today, and it says the Angry Mex is premiering a video at 7 p.m. During Best Gen.
You didn't, Joe. When I published that video, you haven't even put the show yet, so I wasn't even sure that there was going to be a show.
And then I
because of
sent out
Father's
the
Day.
email, okay, because I fell asleep
Yeah.
last night. I normally do it the night before. I sent out the email to everybody, okay? I fell asleep last night, and I had to go to church, and so I sent out. So I opened up my internet, and the Angry Mex is just assuming he can do a live premiere at 7:00. So I sent out the email, and then like an hour later, I saw the time move up to 6:30. It would have been funny
Nice.
though. I was fully ready to start this stream and just have
Watch your video.
video playing.
Oh, that
That would
would
be
be
good.
fun, actually. Yeah. No, like I said, I was all morning refreshing like crazy, waiting for the notification that they were going to have the stream. I was guessing, okay, these guys had, Father's Day, whatever. I was about to just play League of Legends
The
the whole
gall.
night.
The
Play
gall.
Clash. Yeah, play Clash all night, but then I saw it and I was okay, thank God I had something to do. And I watched the movies, and that's the only reason why I could watch movies, and I changed the hour. But yeah, it's fun to finally
Nice.
put a video again.
Mark Clark, thanks for the $10 super chat. David needs a new watch. Yeah,
Yeah,
David,
I don't know where
Dave-
this started from. I was late once.
You were still
They
6
just-
minutes
they
later
just
than I
assume
was,
it's you.
so I still
Well,
think you're late.
I feel really bad. I feel really bad because David doesn't have a job right now, and I'm like, I need to hang out with my brother, like like watch his kids, so they can go on dates and give him just help out as much as I can. So I'm like, okay, well, it'll be fun. There's a new comic book store opening up. They're doing a huge giveaway. So like, David, hey, let's hang out with, we'll do a little, take our boys and just go check out this new comic shop. And then he spends like $500
That's fine. I did not spend $500.
at the comic shop.
I spent more than I should have being jobless, but I did not spend $500. I spent $100. Thank you very much.
But I got to show my haul. Ooh. Oh, it's thick.
Yeah.
Oh.
Holy moly, that's a
Okay.
lot of materials.
They're not floppies. I got one floppy. Okay, so there's a new comic shop. So recently, there's a bunch of comics I read as a kid that I didn't get to finish like the whole series or and so I didn't have money as a kid. I couldn't afford comics.
Yeah.
I was a privileged white boy with no money.
most of our comic book reading was just finding singles at the library and trying to find the largest sequential run we could and check them out at the same time.
Yeah.
So,
So I'm trying to
there was
make
a
up
lot
for
of
it now.
gaps.
Trying to make up for it, trying to get into some of the good stuff. The problem is it's hard to tell what's woke and what's not before you buy it, right?
Mhm.
So I'm just going off of suggestions from other people and the stuff that I remember being good as a kid. I got this one, which is the only floppy I got, which was recommended by Az from Heels versus Babyface. It's so this is a brand new comic. It's only got one issue. It's the North Valley Grimoire, which it's pitched as it's James Bond but with magic and like Cthulhu crap. And so this is the alternate cover, which is it's Goldeneye, and it's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So I got that one.
I could go get the real cover too because
Yeah,
I bought
got the real cover.
well.
Also get
I'll be back.
get the Death of Superman 2 with the fold out thing. Yeah.
Yo, Jacob.
So I got this one. Here, let me make myself bigger because I'm showing stuff off. Ooh, that's cool. I like that.
That's
layout.
cool. Yeah.
Let's just leave it like this the whole show. So I got this one, and so I'm going to be following along every issue because I think that'll be fun to do. And it's not by DC or Marvel. It's by Whatnot Comics, and I have it on good authority that they are not gay. Happy Gay Month!
Whatnot is really good. I've heard many good things about Whatnot. Yeah.
Happy Gay Month, everybody! By the way,
the gayest month of, all times.
Hope you got your pride ready. So, talking about the Death of Superman, I got Death of Superman. I have the last two issues on the way, but so I got
James
now this
Bond.
one was one that I found at a school when it came out, 1998, something like that.
There.
Went to Scholastic School Fair. It was Scholastic Book Fair, and I saw this puppy just sitting on one of the little stands, and I was like, "What is that? Superman can't die. He can't die." And I spent the entire hour and a half that they allotted to this your class's time in the Scholastic jungle, just reading the comic, and I didn't even have to buy it. Suckers! I read the whole thing. Okay. So I got that.
Those Scholastic fairs, I always stocked up on Calvin and Hobbes. That was where I got my Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah, and we were able to find the Return of Superman in our local library, but there's pieces in between. Like the point of this comic he's barely in it. It starts with his death, and then there's 3 whole comics without Superman. Like this is the omnibus of all the floppies. And so it's about the whole world reacting to Superman being dead. So we got Funeral for a Friend, and then a whole bunch of Superman wannabes show up, right? You've got a cyborg Superman, you've got a little Superboy, and you've got a weird Superman who kills people, and you got a metal Superman, and everyone's trying to figure out are these the real super guy? Are these the Superboys? Is this Superman?
Isn't that
Nobody
weird Superman
knows.
that kills people the one that inspired Homelander? That'd be interesting to ask
Kind
that
of,
guy.
maybe. But so then there's 2 more issues. I've got Return of Superman and then Superman Doomsday on the way, and it fix it when you get them all together. It makes a little super.
Yes.
It makes a little super.
With
The S is for sucks. So I'm excited. The other 2 were on the way. I didn't buy those at the store because they were cheaper online.
Yeah.
And I got. Oh yeah. Oh, David, you got the Death of Superman though?
Yeah. So
But the best
I
part-
also have the.
Yeah, I got to go to the ending. I'll show mine first, okay?
Okay,
Hold
go ahead.
up. So the best part about the whole comic, first off, it's freaking. Oh, this is the perfect blend, right? It's the art style. It very much pays homage to the old Golden Age comics, which were great storytelling. Some of the artwork was a little bit done cheaply, and then you got the newer age which the artwork is starting to look better, and then the stories are starting to get worse. And this is the perfect blend of like just like good artwork, but it looks like the classic stuff. And then you get the ending where he dies. He's fighting Doomsday, and this is just the best panel in all of comics. It's him dying, and then
in the arms of,
and then he dies. But this is the omnibus, and so it's not. This is not the full experience. If you get the floppy, David, pull out your floppy. Not that one. David, pull out the comic. Pull out the comic book.
Let's give it G-rated. No, so I also have the Death of Superman omnibus here, but I also have the floppy, and I'm a little bit upset because my kids have ripped the cover off. But
go to that. Go to the page.
This is awesome. So here you got Superman
it's
here.
So good. So
and
good.
Then this just flops out.
It's a centerfold, everybody. Oh, it falls down. It's so good.
Boom. Yeah.
That is awesome.
It's the full experience.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah.
That'd be pretty awesome. Like you're a kid and you're looking at it, and then
Dude,
you
I
have floppy, and then you
whole
turn the page.
hour. I spent the whole hour reading that comic, man.
You lose your fucking mind then.
Also,
Oh
here's
my
the
God.
regular
That's
cover for the
regular cover.
Grimoire. The North Valley Grimoire, #1. Brand new comic, not woke. Haven't read it yet, but looks pretty awesome.
So I got that. I got Watchmen because that's like a must read. Then I got Batman Year One. Then
Fantastic
I got
comic.
Dark Knight Returns.
Nice. Dark Knight
So
Returns.
bunch
Great.
of Frank Miller, some Alan Moore before the woke virus destroyed him, and then just a classic Superman comic.
Yep. So I also got the Dark Knight Returns, and I got this big old deluxe version, and it's got 4 books in there, and I'm like, oh,
Well, so
my
I picked
brother, my
bought
brother
the
just
book.
has this one, the Dark Knight Returns, and I have the other 4 parts, right? But no, these are just singles. They're hardcover singles, and all that fits into what my brother has.
This is the same thing.
So I paid
We're only
like
the same
super
thing.
deluxe for the same exact thing.
This
It
is
was
a
like twice
fraction
the
of the
price. So I'm gonna sell this. I'm gonna buy myself that copy that you got there.
Weird to have hardcover singles.
Yeah, it's super weird. But I mean, hardcovers are nice, but I prefer the soft covers for reading comics. It's just more, I don't know, ergonomic. Anyways, are you done showing off your comics? Because I got 2 more.
Well, yeah, but I also got because they were doing a raffle, and because I bought so many things, it was it's not very good. It was like a first come first serve, and I was like halfway. I was like the 30th person to win, and so this is what was left. I grabbed the most expensive. It said $35, so I just grabbed the one that looked the most expensive, and I got a little King Kong. Looking to resell it online, and it looks like it's on sale for $10 on Amazon right now. So
Nice.
I didn't win the free Switch. They were giving away one of the Tears of the Kingdom Switches.
Yep.
We didn't get it.
Along with a $300 gift card and some magic cards or something.
So I was trying to do something nice
yeah.
for my brother, and he ended up spending all of his money.
Yep.
He ended up luring
Probably
him
not a
into-
smart move, but I mean, I love comics so much.
Don't buy a Switch, by the way. Don't buy a Switch. If you have the possibility to win it for free, but don't buy it. It's going to go obsolete in like 2 months or something.
Yeah, I hear they're coming out with a new console soon. But anyways, I also picked up this. This is Brandon Sanderson's The Dark One comic. Really excited about this. This is basically an anti-Harry Potter. It's like there's a prophecy of the Dark One that's going to destroy the whole world, and the main character is the Dark One that was been prophesied, so he has to deal with that. And then I picked up the Amazing Spider-Man Epic Collection. So this is the very first issues of Spider-Man with the lackluster
Back when
artwork
comic
back
books
then.
were mostly
But-
just text.
Yeah, but man, these stories are awesome. And I looked up a whole bunch more of these. I put a bunch of them on my Amazon cart. I'm like, want to reread all this good stuff.
Yeah, Mark Clark recommends Crisis on Infinite Earths. Yeah, that one was on my list of possible things to buy. The other one I wanted to get was because I've been recommended it so many times. I wanted to get Longbow Hunters, and I found it. I was like, oh, this looks cool, and I pull it off the shelf, and it's like this thick.
Yeah, it's
$200 for the omnibus, and I'm like, maybe later.
Yo, I was thinking right now. Joe Tex-Mex, do you know any Mexican comics? You ever heard of Condorito? El Condorito?
No, I don't know.
Bro, I was thinking because I was saying,
Condor?
God, Condorito, like little condor. And I was thinking about the kind of comics that we got in Mexico and the kind of comics that you got in the United States. And look for that. It's an adult comic, but it's like jokes and albur and double entendres, and it was really funny. My dad really liked that comic because it was really, sometimes distasteful, but it was so distasteful that it was so hilarious. And the other one is it's called Libro Vaquero. Bro, it's you know those novelas that they made for women, that they are basically so a word that I cannot say in YouTube. You get my gist, right?
The romance novels, I think.
Yeah, romance, but exotic,
particularly exotic.
Yeah.
Ones, yeah.
But they were comic books. They were called Libro Vaquero. They were basically that, but they were like the red shoe diaries of Mexico. So they were animated in the comic book, those stories, and it's just hilarious. That was just the font of reference for American comic books, and we just got Condorito and Libro Vaquero.
Yeah.
Would you believe that I have never read an actual like comic book besides like Calvin and Hobbes sorts of things and stuff like that? I've always been the weird kind of like comic book nerd that hasn't read comic books.
It's to be honest, it's really tough to get into because one, either you're hunting down the singles like Alan and I did, except for we weren't buying them, we were just searching local libraries for them, and you have to, like, if you miss one, you're missing a huge chunk of the story, right? Or you wait for these omnibuses to come out, and sometimes they go out of print and then they're really expensive or whatever.
And sometimes the omnibuses don't even include all of the story.
Exactly. Yeah. I was on Amazon for 3 hours until 3:00 in the morning last night, going through all these omnibuses, saying, okay, if I get this omnibus, it covers these stories and whatever, but then I have this other one that fixes up the gap, but there's duplication here if I get this and this. I'm like, oh my God, it's so freaking frustrating.
Not to mention, from what I've heard, they often start doing crossovers that ends up being really messy when it's like, oh, well, this story is now continued in this She-Hulk over here or whatever. You're like, what the heck?
A lot of times the omnibus, that's what a good thing about the omnibus is they say, oh yeah, they collect all the stories from across all the different runs and put them together. But it's confusing when you're trying to get a continuity between omnibuses, or if you're getting multiple collections or whatever. Like there's a bunch of Spider-Man stuff, and then there's one that's just a collection of all the Venom stories, which has some stuff that aren't in the regular Spider-Man omnibus. So I'm like, do I just get the Venom one to fill in the gaps, or do I get all the other stuff and then I'm missing some of the awesome Venom stuff? It's like, I hate it.
That's why I prefer to go and learn on the wiki.
Yes. Yeah.
See, I did a lot of that, especially like going through, like when Smallville was coming out, I'd check things out on Wikipedia and just learn whatever I could that way. Because that's the other problem for me too is I'm such a completionist that now with modern comics, especially like DC, Marvel, those like long standing comics, it's such a mess of like where things have been all over the place and so inconsistent with the canon of it. I've always been a big canon. Like I love the idea of like a canon story and being able to have canon.
Well,
but there is no.
Forget that too, because it's been told and retold so many times. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So that's another reason why now that I'm an adult and have adult money that I could potentially spend on something like that, I'm
Buy some
like, I don't
chemicals.
even know where I'd want to start if I wanted to do that because I want to be a completionist and start from the beginning and read everything, you know. But
Start
Yeah.
with the death of Superman. I love it.
yeah,
I'm
You
trying
guys
to catch
need
up.
some new
recommendation.
hobbies.
What?
Or if you wanted a good one-off, you could.
What did Jared say?
hunt down
Just watch the movies?
No, I said you guys need some new hobbies.
new hobbies. Yeah,
I don't know if you've seen the channel, Jared.
I
Uh,
I think my problem is I've got
No
too
brainer.
many hobbies. I've got comic
Yeah.
books, I've got board games, I've got painting miniatures, I've got video.
No, I think
They're
you
all
guys
good.
doing
Stop it.
fine. You, yeah,
Stop
just you guys doing fine. You guys
yeah,
having
don't
fun.
nerd shame us, Jared. You little architect
Go
boy.
go and draw some freaking buildings.
Yeah.
Jared over here with
Let me
a
say.
real job. Trying to
Yeah.
shame us. I'm trying to catch up with all the comments that I missed while I was
No,
being
but
passionate.
Godspeed, brother. Godspeed.
But Mark Clark's never heard of GoldenEye. It was the Pierce Brosnan
007.
007, but this is from the Nintendo 64 game based on the movie, which was one
Yeah.
of the greatest
Which
games
was-
ever made.
It was, and it's
Really
still
we,
amazing.
we went
big.
through that. I thought it was Roger Moore, but I didn't remember because I've only ever seen two.
No,
Yeah.
I'm talking about Bond. Right before, and I can't believe it. Right before I started the YouTube channel, I watched every single James Bond movie in order.
That's
And it
why
was-
I watched Doctor No, is because I was intending to do that.
It was a wonderful experience.
I bet.
It was a journey through filmmaking styles.
Mhm.
The what now with who?
All of the James Bonds.
Oh,
So because
Oh.
it was fascinating to be able to see each generation of filmmaker try and approach the same story, right? Because they're trying to do the same not the same story, but they're trying to do the same genre of spy movie, but using different filmmaking styles as it progresses. It was a wonderful experience, and I think I should do it again on the YouTube channel because it was fascinating. But yeah,
That would
I-
be super fun.
I want to do it with you because I never seen any of those. The
yeah.
only ones that I saw were the Daniel Craig, and I freaking hated them. They were so boring.
Half of
That
them
guy's
are
so-
good.
That
Half
guy's
of them
so
are
unfunny. That guy's so unfunny.
Yeah.
My favorite Bonds though are the ones that didn't get any movies.
Yeah.
It was I can never remember his name. But the one who he only got one film, and it was the one where he gets married on
You
Her
say it,
Majesty's
hold on.
Secret Service, where he gets married. And
Oh
right.
yeah, but he was too
George
old.
Lazenby. George Lazenby.
That's it.
Like watching him, I was like, "Oh, this is pretty good. This is pretty good." And then I got to George. Oh my gosh, this is my favorite one. Goldfinger comes pretty close with classic Sean Connery. Goldfinger's fantastic. But on Her Majesty's Secret Service was just super good. And then I had a hard time getting into Roger Moore, and he has the most films. Some of them are okay. I just didn't like his acting. He was just too cheesy. But then,
Yeah,
but-
because that's when it got really cheesy. Because I mean, you had a different
That was
kind
the
of,
era.
and that's like that different era when you
Yeah.
had like Sean Connery. It was very like suave and debonair, but also like it
those
was
are cheesy too.
but
But
like a '60s cheese as opposed to a like
Yeah.
'80s cheese.
But
You know,
that
like,
was the era of the TV shows of the 80s TV for this
Yeah,
TV shows. So he tried to
Definitely.
compete with that, and I think that that's
Yeah.
the reason why he got the most movies.
he does. Some of them are pretty good.
He probably sold the most. In my opinion, like he straight to TV, like straight to cable. He probably sold like some things like that, and or those were theatrical the releases.
yeah. I think most of them were, weren't they?
Sorry,
I think the only one that didn't
yeah,
get a
they-
theatrical release was George Lazenby's. Maybe was there
no, it
one
did.
where
They all got theatrical releases.
Damn.
there's at least one that was made, and it might have been when Sean Connery came back after he left.
Okay, so there
was like something. it was a
there's one
different-
movie. There's one
Yeah.
movie that's not actually canon. So
Yeah.
there was a rights dispute briefly. After Sean Connery left, they moved on to George Lazenby, and then they went back to Sean Connery for one film, which was Diamonds Are Forever.
Mhm.
And then Sean Connery also did a version of Casino Royale, which is not canon because it's not. It was a different studio.
Gotta see that.
I want to bring up here. Mark Clark just said he's got the paperback's first print, which would be freaking cool.
Of X-Men.
of. I wasn't sure if that was X-Men or if that was if it was going back to talking about James
I
Bond.
think
But
I think he's
the
talking
James
about
Bond
X-Men here.
books,
Yeah, it's probably talking
first
about
print, that'd be
Chris
awesome.
Claremont.
But honestly, a
Yeah.
first print X-Men Chris Claremont would be awesome too. Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, I just saw that like paperback's first print would be really cool. Honestly, anything that you got. But,
Yeah.
I don't know. We were talking about the different kinds of cheese. It's
Yeah.
This is kind of a completely weird tangent, but do you guys ever watch the Inspector Gadget movies?
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's the one with Matthew Broderick, and I remember growing up and loving that one.
That
Because
was
it was
great.
just a fun, goofy, whatever. And then a little while back, I went and rewatched it, and then watched the one with the sequel with, and I'm like, oh wow, these were probably only a few years apart, but it got into the like weird '90s over the top cheesiness in a way that was like much worse than the other one. Same thing with the new, like with the Flubber with Robin Williams Flubber. I mean, Robin Williams is great, but like I grew up on, and I loved the like the absent-minded professor one from like Black and White and everything. I'm like, this is so good, and then that one is just so over the top, and yeah, that time period had its own kind of cheese, which was different than what you had in different times, which is why Sean Connery's cheese is different than Roger Moore's cheese, you know.
Yeah.
So, but back to James Bond real quick, because I didn't dislike Roger Moore, but he had the most movies that I didn't like. But then a couple of them are really good. But so after George Lazenby, he's my favorite, and he's only got one. And then the two Timothy Dalton films are some of they're some of the best Bond films ever made. They're amazing. And then you went from Timothy Dalton to Pierce Brosnan, and you got 4. And then the current era, and then you get the female James Bond. I assume it's either going to be a girl or it's going to be black. So,
yeah, I'd be willing to bet on black or other racial makeup rather than, because it sounds like the producers have said James Bond is going to be male. He's male. Like we might do other 00 movies that are spin-offs for the female.
I think we need an American James Bond. Chris Pratt.
So I think you're probably going to go that direction instead.
How much you want to bet that they're going to eventually go with Tom Holland? That they're just waiting for Tom Holland to age
it's been suggested before. It's been suggested,
to make it like
no.
Honestly, they just need to do Henry Cavill. That's who they need to do. Is Henry Cavill?
Oh yeah, seriously.
Because
so he's been out of the running for such a long time.
Yeah, he's probably a little old for what they really want to look for. But
no, I'm talking about his age. I'm like, he was being considered, and they immediately dismissed him
because he was being considered back when they did Superman Returns for Superman when Brandon Routh got it instead, and then obviously that failed, and they came back to him. And so he was being considered back when Daniel Craig was being considered. Obviously, Daniel Craig got it and went with it. So he could come back and do that same sort of thing where it's like he was runner-up and now he gets it afterwards.
But that all changed when he got considered a gamer. When he got the tag of gamer, that all changed. He lost everything. The only thing that he has and he loves is the Warhammer movie, which is going to be awesome.
Is it... Yeah. Okay, is the new Bond going to be... Is it going to be Tom Holland or is it going to be Timothy Chalamet?
No, Timothy Chalamet is too French. He's too French. He's French. Like, he's going to play a French man his whole life. He's French. He's played a French man for like 6 movies.
That's why I can see them doing it.
No kidding.
I don't know. I do think that one of the few things that they've also stuck to pretty well is not only that the character is supposed to be British, but that the actor is usually British. Like that one would be. I'd be surprised if they go away from a British actor.
Well, Mexa, if you're interested, if you're interested in doing it, I would love to do all the Bond movies in order again.
Why not a Mexican Bond, bro? El Bondo.
Is there, we can watch those too. We can watch all of them. We should do it together. We should do a series.
Yeah. Hell yeah, bro.
We can figure out a way to like stream it together over Discord. And then we'll record after.
Kick. Or what do you mean?
Sorry,
yeah,
what?
Yeah.
What?
I mean, we can stream it through Streamlabs.
Yeah.
Directly to YouTube.
Yeah. We shouldn't stream the movie, but but we can watch
Oh,
it
no,
together.
The
We can watch it
commentary.
together, and then we'll just stream right after.
Yeah, the
It'll be
commentary,
awesome.
and we put a timer. Sorry, my hair is freaking mess.
Sorry, I'm always sitting here just like messing with my beard, so you got the same.
Yeah, we'll do it again because like it was just an eye-opening experience for me, and then I didn't have anyone to like share it with. I was just talking my wife's ear off the whole time, like and then
Yeah, and I cannot see it with a girl because she's gonna tell, this is toxic masculinity. Yeah, bro. If you think you cannot get a base female in Mexico anymore, to be honest. I mean, you have to go to a pueblito for that, but then it's going to be the whole stream of the situation. Yeah.
Anyway, we'll do some Bond stuff. I'm looking forward to that.
Do some bonding is what you're saying?
Some
Yeah.
El Bondo.
Uh-huh.
Some El Bondo stuff.
But next week, guys,
Not any bondage.
it's Secret Wars. Secret Wars drops, everybody.
When
Is
does
that the TV show or
Or Secret
That was
Invasion.
the
Sorry,
show.
Secret Invasion
Oh,
The
drops
show's
on
the
the-
one that's dropping.
drops on the 21st, and I think they're doing the whole thing. I think it's
Oh,
dropping
really?
all at once because they have no faith in it.
Yeah, that doesn't. bode
no
well.
way.
Yeah,
Huh.
I'm
You have
going to
do it
watch.
one by one.
I'm going to watch the first episode, and I'm going to laugh the whole time. But let's
most likely?
we'll talk about that next week.
If
Okay.
it's so bad that is so funny, maybe we can talk like 3 episodes at least. No?
Yeah.
I am currently
Maybe
seeing on
the middle and
Wikipedia, it's listed as having them releasing weekly.
Really? Okay,
So
then it was
like
the other one.
episode list is set out that way. Yeah.
It was the other show
Huh.
then. The other
Yeah.
Marvel shows.
But that's a filler. That the other one is like a filler.
It
so-
was the Hispanic one.
Mhm.
The,
Echo?
the Daredevil spin-off.
Yeah,
Echo, yeah.
Echo, yeah.
But
They're
is
dropping
that even
Echo
gonna
all at
happen
once.
now. It sounds like there's so much like stuff that they're messing with like between
Everything
the writer's
got
strike and Jonathan
sent
Majors.
back.
They're just like, yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Everything got sent back. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, did you see the news though? The news. Here we go.
probably
Let me-
not.
Let me share
I've
the
been
news.
behind on a lot of stuff.
Let's share the news, everybody.
Yeah.
It's the Avengers King Dynasty has officially been delayed a year.
Wow. No.
Those are the characters. Jesus.
Yeah.
who is gonna watch
These are
that
the
movie?
Avengers. These are the Avengers now, you bigot.
Where are
We
the
got-
Eternals?
We got
Are they all forgot about them? Are
we
they
had
gonna have
Shang-
like?
Shang-Chi and his circles, and we got Ant Boy and Ant Girl and Panther Girl, and I've been canceled already, guy, and Blacked in America, and my comic has just been rebooted for the 13th time. That's in the news too. They just rebooted Captain Marvel again.
Okay,
Uh,
no.
Wow.
When was she
and-
first created? Not that long ago.
No,
Yeah.
not very long ago. And then we got Tom Bolland and
Hey, Spider-Man, my man.
Do a flip.
How much you
Uh,
gonna bet is
armor
Miles
guy
Morales.
who will most likely have less screen time than Riri Williams.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
predict this movie because I'm a Mexican genie. Un genio. No, that's not the word. Wait a minute. No, whatever. But they're going to find a way to include Miles Morales and say that he's going to be now Spider-Man and Tom Holland is going to retire.
Probably, I wouldn't.
Could be.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Mark
Possible,
Clark, I am Picard is the next thing on my list. Okay, I'm watching Picard this week, but I need someone else to freaking watch it too, so we can talk about it. Looking at Jared,
I already finished it, bro.
we finished season 3.
Yeah, it's already done.
Well,
I finished it weeks ago.
Weeks. Shut up.
Yeah.
Jared's like, oh, I love Star Trek. I watch. Star Trek is still good.
But you never said it
Picard's
when
good. Trust me. And I
Oh, you never
start
made
watching Picard season 3. You're like, oh, I haven't even started it.
Well, yeah, but then that week I started it, and
Okay,
guess what? I
okay,
finished it that
fine.
week.
Okay, I'll watch Picard. We'll talk about Picard next week too. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm not
I was
gonna
waiting
watch
for
that
you
show.
to catch up.
Okay. Watch Picard season 3.
Sorry, sorry, Mexa. I cut you off.
No. Go ahead. No, I was saying that I'm not gonna watch that show. It's such a torture. The first 2 seasons.
All right. I'll finish it. I'll watch Picard
Yeah,
season 3.
Do it.
I have actually been saying you were commenting on the Miles Morales aspect. I actually have thought for a little while that it would be smart for either Sony or Marvel to do Miles Morales instead of Peter Parker, so that the other one can keep Peter Parker. So
Right,
let Sony move on and start using Miles Morales, because honestly, he really is pretty well liked, and I'd be totally down for that. And they've done a bunch with Peter Parker. And
I
then
really like
leave Peter
Miles
Parker alone to
Morales.
the
Yeah.
MCU, or the other way around. Either way,
Yeah, I did really
Yeah.
like Morales, but he should be his own character, like his own original character, because
Exactly.
his own
I
thing
liked
is
him
beautiful.
until they started just pushing him on
I was going to
everything.
say it's
The game is
the-
good.
yeah, he's one of those situations where, like, I think again he came around for the exact same reason as all those, but I don't feel as bad with Miles Morales. I don't feel as bad on most of them as you guys do, but Miles Morales I think worked really well because he was a new Spider-Man, but he was also, to me, it worked really well as his own character.
Yeah,
for
you
what
know
he
what?
was.
He worked
He
well.
worked better than most of the diversity ones that they were
and
trying
he's
to
been
Because-
around as as long as most of them have been around, and so
Mhm.
to me, I'm more okay with that. But
Yeah, he's definitely the most successful out of all the
Mhm.
the rehashed characters, and I think for him they did a fantastic job of giving him an awesome epic backstory, that mirrored his loss with that Peter Parker's loss with Uncle Ben.
Mhm.
and I still won't watch Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
I think
No,
it was
me
good.
neither.
really
I don't
liked
have to. You don't have to just. The first one is a better movie, so why watch a worse version? I can watch it with the third one
different
if
movie.
it's better. But and eventually, when it comes to free services, I'm like, okay, it's going to be free.
Yep. Well,
absolutely.
there's more news though. Mexa, you did that wonderful video talking about how Disney's new show Primos
Mhm.
is the most racist thing they've ever made. But this oh, what? How come it's not? Oh, I shared the wrong thing. I was supposed to share the window and I shared the tab, so I can't
You can
see
look
it.
for it while I talk about it a little
Rookie
bit.
mistake.
Yeah, but
Go ahead.
Yeah,
fill us in,
yeah.
Mexa.
The thing that I didn't cover yet with the video, that's going out tomorrow if I have the time. I already recorded it. Editing is a pain in the bum. The creators responded to the comments the backlash, but they put up a show that was really racist and stereotypical for Latinos and Mexicans in general. And people criticize her, people from all Latin America, and the creator, yeah, that's the creator. Oh my god, that was so funny.
This one got me. I believed it because
Me too. for a
okay, so
second.
discussing film, they're total shills, and then there's the alternate account, the disbussing film that does fake headlines, and I checked. I was like, is this the real one? And it's not disbussing film, it's discussing film. But then I looked at the tag, and there's an M instead of an N, so this is fake news. But I believed it 100%. Because I watched the trailer and it's the most racist thing ever. But I mean, come on.
To be fair, and
I
not
didn't
knowing
know-
anything. Oh, go ahead.
I didn't know Spanish was an actual language before working on the show. I had the characters saying stuff like chimichanga, taco, and burrito. I didn't know they had a language. Yeah. So this is fake news, but in real news, Primos is super racist. Tell us
No,
about it.
but
To be fair, and I haven't actually seen this, and I will absolutely defer to Mexa's perspective and opinion on this, but the Hispanic culture also tends to be very just like totally fine with stereotypes and totally fine with just
It's not
calling people like, oh, this is my brother Gordo, and
Yeah.
blah blah blah. Like they're not very sensitive at all. From what I've seen, they're not likely to be offended. Anyway,
no.
Yeah.
They called the little 2-year-old character Little Vagina.
What?
Yes. Her name
and
is
I didn't put out
her
the
name
video,
is
but-
Kukita.
Yeah, But because they tried to make it a word that is American, like cookie, they tried to make it like Mexican and said, "Oh, at ita," like the
It,
suffix.
they
And
because they
it's like,
don't know Spanish. No
yeah,
one involved with the show
okay.
is Spanish. They tried to call her little cookie, not knowing that that word means something else in Spanish.
Wow.
I asked my
That's
friends,
also
and
a
dude,
perspective that helps that you actually lived
yeah,
in Mexico, because being in America, I didn't get some of those words
Then
in
what
dude,
Spanish.
if you don't
I wouldn't have
know
known.
the culture, why are you making a Mexican
Mhm.
TV show?
Very fair.
because they
Or
want
at
to
least
sell it.
running it by someone that speaks Spanish.
Yeah, that's the
No.
key.
They sell it. They sell it. That's
Mexa
the way they
broke it
sell
down perfectly. You can tell they literally just typed words into Google and then wrote them down as the character's
Mhm.
name.
Wow.
Yeah, Oye Primos, which is the theme Mexican, the main theme, which is
It's
full of
grammatically
Mexican music.
incorrect.
Mexican music, the music, bro, the music though.
The music is
Jesus.
horrible.
I couldn't
It's,
put it in YouTube because I was going to get, a
yeah.
copyrighted. It was the good mood because I didn't even have to, but whatever. I asked some friends around about Kukita, and they didn't know anything about this. They live their normal lives. They're teachers and architects actually, so they live normal lives, and they don't know anything
We don't
about it.
like architects on the show. Don't bring
No,
it up.
but yeah, they are Mexican, so they don't get the American news. So I asked them yeah randomly, Joe, what do you mean? What do you think that the word kukita means when I said what's kukita? He's like kuka, like,
Mhm.
and I was like, no way, no way, it's random. Like, and I asked the guy, and he's like, yeah, kuka, no. And then I asked the word cha-cha because that's the other guy, the other character, which
Yep.
looks the most endogenous, if you might. He has an unibrow, like the hair is like all messy and losing hair for some reason.
Yeah,
Um,
all of the Mexican characters just look like vagabonds, and all of the white people look great.
Huh.
It's
like there's a guy that looks evil Mexican Steven Universe, literally the same art style, but with a bigote and with evil eyes. Like he looks like a, something I cannot say in YouTube.
Weird.
And
It's
then I
bad.
asked about the other gay. Like, the other character is called Chacha, which is basically a slur in Mexico. You cannot say that anymore. It's referring
I
to a
googled
mate.
it. Google Translate says it means girl.
Yeah, but
It
exactly that's what and that's exactly
It does.
what
It
you
does
said.
technically mean girl, but
Yeah,
it's a slur.
Well, and
exactly.
so along those lines, and it's funny because
Yeah.
another problem that you run into is even more so than like with English, where you've got like British versus American English and the different ways that goes. Like Spanish has so many different cultures and countries that
Yeah.
use that it's really tough to do. Which so again, this is a coming in America, so you're going to want to cater primarily to the Mexican and Central American dialects of Spanish if you're doing it at all, because is what you should be doing. Yes, absolutely. But along those same lines of a word that technically means one thing, but slang wise doesn't work that way. Is I had a buddy who was talking with somebody who he was trying to call a traitor, and so he called him a sucio chacatero. But in Mexico, apparently that's not a turncoat as it would be translated, but somebody who takes care of themselves on the regular. So, and that was quite an interesting conversation to have when he tried to call somebody that.
Yeah,
So,
but the
it's the
thing
same
is
sort of
that
thing where it's like
the problem
technically
with
it means
that, yeah,
chacatero, it's like
exactly.
change coat, turncoat, but yeah.
Yeah, but that's a slur. That's different.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a like xenophobic, classist slur that you
Mhm.
call a mate, and that's the
Mhm.
problem. Imagine this is real because this is real. Okay, many of the kids that are Latino probably have parents that either work as a maid sometime, or they are working currently, as a home attendant, or I don't know how this is a proper term.
Mhm.
But cha-cha is such a demeaning term, especially like I said in Mexico. Everywhere in Mexico is a slur. And you don't you like nowadays if you say that term, you go viral, bro. You
Mhm.
go freaking viral, literally. If you go viral as a racist, if you're white, actually, and you say cha-cha to a woman, you go viral, and they call you racist and they
Yeah.
call you
And
xenophobic.
the trailer has gone viral. It's what is it? A 1000 sorry 1000
100,000 dislikes.
100,000 dislikes. And everyone on all even the
Oh, and
wokies are
funny
mad
you
about it.
mentioned about the dialect, just real quick, because that's about the video tomorrow that I'm going to release. Because she was mentioning she had such a disrespectful video with the main character's boy actress. She put such a disrespectful Twitter video out or Instagram story, where she records herself basically explaining to Latinos where Spanish comes from. So she's like, I don't know, I don't speak Spanish because Latino, the Spanish comes from the conquistadores that forced their language upon us, including herself. And I was like you were talking about, you don't know nothing about the dialects that, first of all, Spanish is not a real language. That's what they called, well, Spanish called themselves that because, okay, then they said, okay, we're going to generalize, we are the nación española, with Spanish nation,
Yeah, the
going
language
to
is
call español,
Castellano.
castellano, the language is
Mhm.
castellano.
Yeah.
And many other dialects that came with the conquistadores: Castellano, Aragonés, Galicio, Catalan, Leonés, mm, many other ones, Andalus especially. Um, and she tries to, make that shitty argument. Like, I don't know, it got me so angry. The angry
Yeah.
makes it.
It's
Yeah,
bad.
there you go.
Well,
Yeah, it got me really
everyone should watch your video because it's great, and I'm looking forward to part 2.
Yeah. Watch it, please. Give a like, and to help the algorithm, leave a comment because struggling right now.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yep. The Flash is not doing great. It's tracking comparable to Quantumania, which was notoriously really bad. But the director is coping hard. They've already released a statement saying, no. The special effects are supposed to look bad. It's intentional. And the reason is because it's supposed to put you in the perspective of the Flash's character, where it's not supposed to look realistic because he moves fast, and that's something you've never experienced as a human. So that's why it looks so crappy.
Yeah.
And of course, you've got Master the TDS, who hasn't failed to share his fan blaming bingo card. It was meant to be bad, everybody. So
Pretty good.
there's that one. And then you got people supporting it. Like, oh, since when did we let a CGI, ruin the entire cinematic experience for a movie, and proceeds to share movies that most people didn't like, besides maybe Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Everyone complained about Jar Jar Binks, and no one liked the CGI in Hulk. And this is easily the worst Spy Kids movie.
Yeah. What do you mean? The first two are great with decent CGI for the time.
Uh-huh.
It's like you put the worst examples, but that
I
guy is a chill.
This one's okay though.
Yeah.
I didn't hate this movie.
That was my
This
favorite
movie had a
movie.
lot of other problems.
That was my favorite movie because of the
But
story with the how
it
he
does-
get the rage. They explain
in
everything.
context, this CGI looks better than the Flash. If we're being,
Way
we're being
better.
honest.
Yeah.
But it's funny you just choose bad examples. But yeah, Matt Ramos is a notorious shill for Disney right now. And then you got people comparing it like this. This is like almost a 20-year-old film now.
Wow.
It's like 15, right? It's
Yeah. So
it's
beautiful.
nuts.
insane.
But because there's a lot of makeup, that's what
Yeah.
makeup work, and they just did a lot of CGI fixing the.
Let's someone
What
shares
the
this
hell?
the
My
screenshot from this.
God.
this is what we're comparing it to, guys.
I didn't want to pay 200 pesos to watch that bull
My
movie.
goodness, that looks worse than some of the shots I've seen from the CW
Mhm.
shows.
Yep.
And they didn't even reserve
Wow.
like the cheap screens in Mexico. They only reserved like the 3D IMAX, the big screens.
Where it's gonna look
And
even
yeah,
better.
exactly. And it's like you
can tell
cannot
even
find
more.
like a cheaper ticket for like less than 200 pesos. It's really hard. And it's like
I will say
why even?
I am one who definitely does not let bad CGI get in the way of my enjoyment of stuff. Sometimes I'm like, ooh, yeah, that's some pretty bad CGI, but most of the time I'm just like, all right,
Yeah.
cool, I'll roll with it. But
I mean, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
Dude, I
we'll
watch
see.
Babylon 5 is horrible CGI, and it's great. Okay. But
Doctor
you also have a
Who.
good story behind it.
Has to be a good story.
Doctor Who's great,
Yeah.
and the CGI
Well,
is
it's great.
garbage.
Yeah.
But if you, honestly, if
Doesn't
you're
have
comparing,
what, 400 million.
if you're comparing the older episodes to the Jodie Whittaker episodes, you're like, wait, really?
because they use much practical effects.
We've got the technology has gotten easier and easier, and yet the skill level has gotten lower and lower.
That's correct. They rely
Yep.
too much in CGI.
Well, there's a couple other news stories. We could keep doing that, or we did anyone do their homework this week?
We better continue with the with the news.
David didn't
I
have the money to go spend on Amazon Prime. Oh wait, he spent it on the comic books.
Comic books, yeah.
In my defense, I was refreshing all. I didn't even remember what were supposed to watch. I was looking through the podcast and I fell asleep like through the end.
It's at the beginning. I opened with it.
Oh, Jesus!
You
I
liar!
I watched it. I didn't watch it from the beginning. I watched it from the end because I was like, "Oh, where is it?" Looking for it from the end because I thought that there was at the end. So looking for it, like,
Oh
half
my
an hour looking
gosh!
for it.
That's
I
hilarious.
Final
opened with it. I
30
said,
minutes
"This is
for
what
the
we're
freaking
doing
show.
next week."
And then I
So,
decided to
so
watch
it'd be
it from
right
the
at the beginning,
half-
so you could watch it back and remember. I should have put it in the description. Okay,
Yeah.
I watched it.
I
watched
Oh,
one.
Jared, my man.
I watched one.
I watched.
Sorry.
I watched the first one,
You watched
which
the
in my
Dirties?
opinion looks like the best. Well, not looks like the best in budget, but in like I don't know. In my opinion, for like art film, it was the best. Like in the
So
concept
which one?
of an art
Which
film.
one did you watch then?
The
You
quick
watched
the
Dirties.
the Dirties. I was gonna
Okay.
say the
Jared, which
Cuties,
one
but
did you
no, that's
watch?
not the one.
I watched Operation Avalanche.
Okay,
Nice.
David, and I know
So-
David watched half of Operation Avalanche.
I watched half of Operation Avalanche with my wife, and she fell asleep, and so we
I'm
had to go
watching
to
it
bed.
right
and I
now.
never,
And
I never
David,
got back to
I
it.
also know that was Monday because you told me on Monday, and so you've had the rest of the week to finish the movie.
I know.
I'm watching
watched
it right now,
Elemental.
so I have like
You watched
scenes in
Elemental.
my mind.
Yeah.
David, is that you didn't watch anything else?
I didn't watch
Yeah,
anything
but
else.
I don't.
I
I,
even-
don't want
I
to
even-
hear your
I
opinion
even
on it.
logged into my Amazon account on your computer so you could watch the one that I rented.
Oh, I didn't know you did that.
No, I told you that I would, but I didn't. But you could have called me and I would have given you my
I hope-
password.
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was a real. I thought Operation Avalanche was really interesting.
Operation Avalanche is so freaking good.
Yeah, I mean,
I watched. Yeah, like 30
It,
minutes.
it
of
was it was produced in 2015, and or at least that's when it was copyrighted.
Yeah.
But yeah, it clearly has. They were able to accomplish like the whole kind of like a Cloverfield
It's
vibe,
so-
where like you're like
Yeah.
watching the camera shake and stuff like that on like the documentary. Very
They're-
rough
they're-
documentary.
They're making the movie that you're watching in the movie too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was interesting because the whole time, like at first you're like, oh, they're the CIA agents, and they're going undercover to find a mole, but then they end up faking the moon landing, and you're like, what? Like, okay.
Well,
Yep.
I think we just need to like you guys got to do your homework. We'll talk
I'm
about it
watching
more
it
in
right now,
depth
bro.
next week.
I'm
Okay,
watching it right now, bro.
because like there
Okay.
Just
there
give
is
me time, just
seriously
give me time,
there
just give me time.
there was so much to talk about. Okay, so The Dirties is his first movie, and it's like I think he made it. I believe the budget was $10,000, and 90% of that money went to licensing the music. So
Oh yeah.
he made the movie with $1,000.
Wow.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And what did you think of it, Mexa?
Such a such a beautiful piece of art.
It's a masterpiece.
It's a beautiful piece of art.
It's
It's hilarious
hilarious.
for
It's
the
super
first.
funny, and then and incredibly depressing. It's like it's a perfect tragedy, and it's disturbing but poignant.
Yeah.
Um,
And the thing you mentioned, there are four songs or six or five songs in the movie, I
Yeah.
think, and the rest is like sounds that they recorded themselves
mhm.
and silence. And
Right.
I love that music is not only the use of sounds, but it's also the use of silence. His use of silence is master, and I don't know who made the sound design. I hope
He did.
I
He
probably
did.
did it himself. Yeah, he did
Yeah,
it
he
himself.
did it all
Obviously,
himself. Well,
obviously.
you saw the scene from the movie where they're doing Foley for the phone call. Okay, there's a
Yeah,
brilliant scene in this movie. He's trying to impress a girl. He's trying to get his friend a girlfriend. And so he's trying to make his friend look more popular. And the scene is he's calling up the girl, but they're pretending that they're at a big party. So he's got a party scene from a movie playing on the TV. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's just really loud. I can't hear you. Let me walk outside." Then and it shows the guy with his shoes. He clanks them on a stool, right? And then opens and closes a door, pauses the movie, and starts playing crickets on a boombox. Oh, it's much quieter out here. I can hear you now, right? It is brilliant.
yeah. I mean,
Nice.
what I've seen from okay, we're going to continue talking about que what is it? I don't know why I confuse it with cuties, but because when you first described
It's
it,
not cute.
I
It's,
thought that was about that. I thought that it was about that, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna like this movie." But then it was about the other subject that could happen in a high school. And and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you went? Yeah, they actually went there." And I was not expect. I mean, I was expecting it when I started watching it, but then I was not expecting it the impact because yeah,
yeah,
throughout
it's
the
so good.
movie, like the first 30 minutes of the movie is the most hilarious things that you have seen
Mhm.
in your life. Like the whole they are shooting. Can I just explain
Yeah,
the plot? Okay,
they're
they're
making a
shooting.
movie.
They're
Yeah,
making a movie about they're
about
making a
bullies.
funny like Scarface type of movie, like police 80s cheesy type of movie with where the bullies of the school are the villains. The villains are called
There it is.
the Darius. Oh, Jesus, I'm going to constantly keep forgetting, so please keep reminding me. The Darius. So they shoot the movie and they show it to the professor, and the professor is like, "No, you had to reshoot it, whatever."
Because it's full of cussing.
Full of cussing and violence against the kids in the school and against the staff. So he's like, okay, and you see the teacher's face changing. So
Well, because they do a scene, they use the teacher as an actor, and they do it. They do a scene where they're talking to him, and then they go back and record another take where they say like from where they say different things to the teacher. And so when he's in the room, they're super nice, and then they do a second take, a pickup shot where they're just cussing him out, and then they splice it in with the footage, and he's like, okay, there's some problems here,
and
guys."
they just tell him randomly, tell him like, "Oh, scream here." They just go and they don't tell him the context, but he's screaming because they are shooting him dead. Uh,
Wow.
and he's like, okay, no guns and whatever, and they have to do the reshoots, and they didn't allow to for the girls because they take the image of the girls in a brilliant, again, brilliant way for the time. Yeah,
Oh,
with the budget and the way they recorded as well. You said the Cloverfield feel, the
it's
Cloverfield
a found
feel,
footage. Yeah.
but it's so well done. It's the best, in my opinion. It's the best found footage film that I've seen in my life. All the found footage
And you
before it.
haven't even
Before that,
seen Operation Avalanche
I'm
yet.
seeing it right now, bro. I'm doing my homework. I'm the I will be the kid in the school that when the teacher is going through the list of names, so each person will hand the homework. I will be like in my because my last name is
Last
like
name
the
starts with a
last
Z.
with a T. a T as in tango. Uh, so I was the last one
Yeah.
always. So I always had time.
So
So
it had been a while since I rewatched these movies, since I'd seen these movies. Okay. And so I started from the beginning. I rewatched The Dirties and I was like, I forgot how much I liked this movie. And I was like, this is, I undersold it. Like, this movie's a masterpiece. And then I watched Operation Avalanche and I was like, and this one is so much better. Like, this is the masterpiece. And then I watched Blackberry. And
but let's not get there because I haven't seen that.
it's even better. It's this man is a genius, okay?
Mhm.
But back to The Dirties. I watched Blackberry twice. I finished it and then I started it again and just watched the whole thing again. And then I was
Wow.
watching. I got halfway through right before the show. I was watching it for the third time. But the Dirties. The other Foley scene is hilarious. There, where he's on the table in his underwear. And then his friend's like, "What are we doing here?" It's like we're recording fully, right? So like in a movie or in a video game, like in Skyrim or I think he says Morrowind, like in Skyrim, when you pass by a character and you hear him saying, "Oh, I'm in the tavern, and did you hear about the guy last night?" And then it slowly fades away. We're recording that. We're doing like background audio for the movie, right? So this is me. This is old man. Walks down the street with change in his pocket, and he's got a bunch of coins in a jar, and he's standing on the table with a microphone in his crotch.
He's an old beggar, like someone that begs
in
for
his
money.
underwear, and he's like, "What are these hooligans doing on the street?" And his friend's just like, "I don't understand why you're in your underwear if we're just doing audio." And it's like,
And he explains it. He tries to explain it. Because he's an old man and it has to sound like he's,
Helps him get in the right headspace. Yeah.
No,
That's-
it's all like regarding the sound. I don't know. He's genius. This guy's genius.
That's funny.
okay.
All right, so
Right.
priorities then for the homework is Operation Avalanche is the number one.
All of them. Watch all of them. You guys sinned, so now you have to watch all of them.
All three of those movies.
Gotta watch the dirt. They're free right now. They're free.
I definitely
Post the
going to watch
information in the
Blackberry.
description and/or a comment.
I'm watching Operation Avalanche. I'm
Look,
watching the twist.
I will.
Oh, the
Yeah.
twist is genius, bro. The twist is genius. But we'll get to that.
I will buy.
The-
I will buy BlackBerry and give you all my login. Okay.
You don't need to buy it for me. Don't worry. But I cannot even get it because I don't have the. I'm in a complete different stratosphere, like a complete different dimension here.
Yeah.
Una dimensión paralela.
Yeah. No. The Dirties is. It's a masterpiece. It's
Yeah.
just a beautiful. It's
So,
a Greek tragedy.
They
And-
present the movie and everyone makes fun of them, and then that's where the twist, and that's important. He
So watch
says, "What if we do it for real?" And that's literally the reaction of the friend, like what
Yeah.
Tech makes is doing.
Yeah.
Silence.
The-
Why we do it for real? And he's just like silence.
No, but like in a movie, so we just go in and we just start blowing everyone away. But it's a film, But what if we actually showed up, and that was the movie, and we recorded it? Like, it would be great. It would
And
be
we
an
actually
awesome
got
movie.
and we actually got and we actually got to shooting range and in practice, and we get maps
Yeah.
of the school and the yearbook, so we get the names and the faces of everyone that bullies us. They make plans, they make scrapbooks, they have a blackboard full of names,
Oh,
locations
It's so
of the
dark.
classes. and it
It's
gets
the,
dark
it's the
and-
slow it's the slow burn because like because they're making movies, and so you think like that's all it is, right? And then it's the friend's slow discovery throughout the whole film that, oh, maybe he's actually taking this seriously. Maybe this isn't a joke. And the best part of the movie is when he keeps asking his friend, like they're talking and joking and making jokes about and it's hilarious. It's legitimately hilarious. They're making jokes and just hanging out and goofing around, and then he turns to his friend, and what was the name of that one kid that threw the rock at you? What was his name? and he writes it down in his notebook, and he keeps
Oh.
and so like and it keeps coming up. Oh, what was the name of that one kid? What was the name of that one kid that shoved you in the
Yeah.
locker?
And he even gets mad
Um,
when he doesn't know the names of the kids, and he's like, "Why do you get angry? It doesn't matter. It's just a movie. Why doesn't matter the name?" And
we're
he's
only
like, mhm.
we're only
Oh.
here for the bad guys. It's
"Oof, that that's the finale. That's spoiler alert. Yeah, yeah. I mean, the
Goodness.
movie is about that. The spoiler alert is that uh, we don't even going to give it the spoiler, but let's just say that
it's
the final phrase of the movie is, "We are just here for the bad guys," and the exact moment it ends is such a beautiful picture. It's
it's me.
like it's me.
What do you do, man? It's
What do you
me.
mean? It's me?
It's me.
Holy moly, guacamole!
Oh, it's one of the most important films you will ever watch.
Mm.
It's so good.
And like
Um,
he says that the parts of the depression, it really feels like a depression, like the loneliness, the sitting alone doing nothing in front of your computer, playing with yourself basically. Not playing with yourself literally, but uh wasting your time doing nothing. And it felt so real, to felt so close to home, and it feels like, okay, this is the situation that many kids in America, especially, that have access to everything,
mm,
go through that every day. And it's like, okay, that's why it's so real. And just go ahead and tell me, like, because I want to know, because for the full context. What is the context of the final scene? Did they know? I
sorry.
mean,
The
the
school.
context of the final scene. Yeah, I mean, did they
It's a
did they,
trick. So it's a different school. So the entire movie they filmed in a real
yeah.
school with real students and
Mhm.
paid them as actors. They knew they were in a movie. They didn't know what the plot was, and so he legitimately paid those people to beat the crap out of him.
Mhm. And that was so
And
real. But he
he
but he
gets
got two
just
actors.
beaten up, right?
But he has two
Um,
actors. The
yes,
girl
yeah,
and the
and
and
some of
the
the bullies, a lot of the bullies,
the
yeah,
actor, the boy, the
yeah,
bully boy that acts really good in that
and
part.
the
And
teacher.
the teacher,
Actually, the
no, the teacher.
guitar, the guitar teacher is
Yeah,
an
yeah.
actor and he's the one of the main characters in Nirvana the band the show. He's part of the duo.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
great.
Felt like a professional, but
So they filmed the whole thing in the school, and then they actually didn't think they would be able to afford filming the ending. So there is an alternate ending that ends differently, and you can find it on YouTube or on the DVD. That's it's really good too, but for different reasons. But then by the end, so they filmed it because they didn't think they could afford doing the real ending, and then by the time filming was finished, they were able to get more funds, and they rented out an empty school for like 5 hours, and they filmed the finale with all of his extended family came and pretended to be high school students.
Wow.
oh,
He
um,
says it it's in the
and they
commentary. He's like,
brought, but they
this is all
brought
my extended family. That's my aunt.
they
Uh,
brought but they brought the students that they pay for, right?
yeah. Mhm.
And they told them, yeah.
Well, and you can tell and that shot is all done on GoPros because they only had a couple hours to do it.
Yeah,
So
but the
so they
setup,
said that
so
you watch
magical.
him setting up the GoPros and you see all of them, and they had just had to do it in like one take. So
My God, that there are scenes that are pieces of art where he's like doing
it
the
it
to the
it
seat. He's doing that to empty seats where he knows that people are going to be.
with the spotlight when he's like
Yeah, that was so funny. That was so funny. That was so funny. But a
yeah,
minute before that, he goes so dark that he's with that, with the weapon that he probably has already.
yeah,
No, and he mimics the thing that he's going to do
right.
to someone that. Yeah.
It's very reminiscent of Joker
Yeah.
when he's in the green room preparing. Yeah. It's really good, and this was done first. I think the Joker stole from the Dirties, by the way.
I mean, the Joker
Yeah.
got inspired for the first Joker in the joke, and the Darius got inspired for the Jared Leto. I mean, Jared Leto. Heath Ledger. Jared Leto. Lol. The Heath Ledger. Yeah.
No, the Joaquin Phoenix one,
Yeah.
the Joker movie. Um,
Yeah. No. Yeah.
yeah,
I was talking about the other movie because there are scenes that he copies the Joker.
yeah. There's a scene where he's doing Heath Ledger's the Joker.
He's like
Uh,
the walk. Yeah.
Crazy.
Oh, the scene where they're trying to impress the girl. Oh, walk by her again, but this time, yeah, like pretend like you have a top hat and do the swagger, right? Like do the. Oh, it's so good. It's a wonderful movie. But and some of the shots that like it's the way that it's filmed and more the way that it's edited together, like it's a masterpiece. Like
Yeah,
it's
and
done
it's
so well. He is a
Hoffman with a lot
phenomenal
of
editor.
yeah.
And then he
Hoffman with
makes fun of himself as an editor. There's the scene where he does that montage, and it's like with the music behind them, and it's cutting to a whole bunch of different things, and then it pulls out to him on the computer editing the film, and he's like, "This is cheesy. This is too cheesy, right? Right? We can't put this in the
and
movie."
that was a fake out because I
Like,
thought that was like the finale. I thought that was the finale. He was going to stay alone, like without the friends or whatever. And he's like, no, this is too cheesy. And then we face the reality, and it's
Yeah.
oof,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
hits
Mark-
way harder. And then we
Look,
get
this
to
is
the
the
actual.
Dirties, Matt Johnson's first movie, which we're almost done talking about. But yeah, the finale. Oh, it's
And
just
then they go to the conclusion, which is, like I said, a brilliant, completely brilliant. Um, yeah. I don't know. This movie really was really impactful. That's why I'm not like paying too much attention to Project whatever. Uh, I don't know. This movie was wow, wow. I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing. And I would love to ask this guy, what was he thinking? And what's his process?
Oh yeah, this interview and watch.
Yeah.
He does
Yeah.
an amazing interview with YMS. Your movie.
Where is
Sucks.
he from? Where is he from?
He's from Montreal, Canada. So there are a couple interviews that I've watched, and it's just fascinating to hear this guy talk. And so he's like, I knew that I had to make a movie, right? And your first movie always sucks, but you have to start somewhere, right? And so if you just wait around forever, wait for the conditions to be perfect, you're going to be waiting forever. So you have to start so you can start learning and start getting better. And so he's like, but I wanted to do it differently. Like I knew that I sucked. Okay. So what are my biggest weaknesses? What are the things that are going to make my movie crappy? I'm a bad actor. We don't know what we're doing. We don't have any money, and I'm not a good filmmaker.
Mm-hmm.
So how can I make those the best parts of the movie? And so we came up with the idea of, okay, well, let's make a movie about high school students who are bad actors, who don't have any money, who don't know how to make movies. Let's make a movie about high schoolers making a movie. And it's perfect.
So perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's genius. Yeah, it's playing with the cards that you have, playing your cards right. Literally, and that's a lesson to any of us that we think that maybe we should need something to get to that goal, or maybe we need something to get to that goal, but we have everything in this moment. And
Watch.
if you are able to work with that in the future, when we actually have that thing that we are praying to get right now, we're going to make way more of it. Because and that's the reason why his second movie is such, like you said, an improvement, right?
Yeah, it's even better. It's like the
Yeah.
Dirties is a masterpiece. I was like, I forgot how perfect this film was, and then I watched Operation Avalanche. And I'm like, and this is obviously it's a completely different genre. Well, it's still a tragedy, but you can see he got like I think it was $1 million for Operation Avalanche is what he said, and he said and and in the same interview he was like, and most of that also went to music rights, but it wasn't. It was like 40% spent on music, and the rest was spent on the movie. But Operation
Yeah, I'm seeing
Avalanche,
right now. There's a lot of fortunate song even.
yeah, no, yeah,
Um, a
Yeah.
lot of music, a lot of
there.
good music, great music overall. Apollo
Um,
8, Morning. Yeah, a
so
lot.
watch the Dirties. It's super good and super hilarious, and then depressing, but still hilarious. Operation Avalanche, not quite as funny, still pretty hilarious. There are some legitimately funny parts in this movie. It's
Yeah,
more
for sure.
serious though. It's a found footage, uh, um, historical fiction. It is a version of what possibly could have taken place during the moon landing.
Yeah.
And it is so fascinating to see this Matt Johnson's growth, and when you see what he can do with no money, and then you give him a little bit more, and Operation Avalanche was his little bit more, and it's just exponential. What he's the return on investment for Operation Avalanche is just like insane,
Yeah.
right? And then he gets some real money to do Blackberry,
How much you got?
and Blackberry is literally the best biopic I have ever seen, and Blackberry is a true story, and it's the first time it's not like a found footage type thing. It's filmed like a document. It's not a documentary, a biopic, and it is. And the reason why it's good is it's not just telling the story; it's turning the story into a movie where you have like a message. Like it begins with like a theme, and at the end the theme comes full circle, and it's a perfectly balanced movie, and that's what a lot of biopics suffer in that aspect, because they're true stories. You can't like change the ending, right? You can't make something happen that didn't happen. And so often you get biopics that are like, oh, this is a good ride, and then the ending is really unsatisfactory because that's how it ends, right? And spoilers, if you don't know, the Blackberry ends in failure. Okay, for a while they were the number one, they were on top, and then
Well, that was the next phone I was going to buy was a
no,
BlackBerry.
they don't exist anymore. Okay, there's like one store left. Okay,
Yeah, they
But-
sell for like
but he-
$20.
he managed to take this real life story and find meaning in it, and the whole movie is framed around that message. And so I don't think I've ever seen a biopic that's done that as well. They try, and often they'll try and like shoehorn something in at the end. Oh, like it was about family the whole time, I guess, right? But when you look at the film as a whole, you're like, yeah, but all the pieces don't add up to it. Like it's a nice message at the end, but in Blackberry, the entire film is built. It's a masterpiece. It's perfect.
Yeah.
But
I think Pursuit of Happiness is one biopic
Yeah.
that was based on a true story.
that did it.
But-
And that's an example of what I'm talking about, of how it's kind of framed around a singular idea.
Right.
And
But-
Pursuit of Happiness does do a good job at that.
Yeah. But
yeah.
I would imagine though they took some liberties in
They
changing a
did.
few details because it's just
did.
based on a true story, right?
Yeah.
So
But anyway,
I had to
Operation
agree
Avalanche.
with what Martina says. I was a little bit bored by Operation Avalanche. That's the reason why I'm like not rather engaged. Like, the other one was way more engaging, but I
Yeah.
think because Operation Avalanche works in like a different, like it tries to be a movie in a movie in a movie, right?
right.
Like in a tri-dimensional level or something like that. So I got like the other thing that I wanted to ask: does he talk ever about using psychedelic sentences? Substance?
Not that I've seen in his interviews. No.
He's gotta because
Maybe.
the way it felt with the first one, and now you see Operation Avalanche, and it feels like okay, in this one, and that's something that I would love to ask him because he feels like that. Like in this one was doing a little bit, and then he did a little bit more, and then he reached that point where he's like, okay, now I build things in another level of like consciousness. I mean, at least in his own mind, right?
Huh.
So when you know all of these things that are going on in the same time, at the same time that he's doing the documentary, he's faking doing a documentary to go into NASA to show all the footage. I mean, all the old things to pretend to be in 1970, 1960 something,
Yeah.
and buys the cameras, and that's probably where a lot of the budget also went. But it's so cheap because you buy the cameras and they are really cheap because nobody uses them because they are so low quality nowadays. So the way he filmed it, I don't know, I would love to watch all those interviews, and I would love to ask him if he ever did like had some kind of psychedelic experience, because the way
Just
he builds the way he builds this movie feels like that. That's
just
my
wait.
feeling.
Just wait until you get to the Stanley Kubrick segment.
Yeah.
It is
That's where my wife fell asleep when I stopped watching.
it is so cool what they did with Stanley Kubrick.
It's a very clever idea. Yeah.
It's it is it's genius.
Yeah, like I said, there are bits of the movie that I've seen that I really took my attention, like when they are trying to recreate the whole thing when they are prancing in the desert. Was so funny. I was like, what the hell? But it actually works because they managed to do it. So
Yeah.
and
It's
when
really
they
good.
find it, well, whatever. I don't want to spoil it, but yeah. Um, yeah, I think it's really good, but what I've seen, I think it works better if you think it that in the way that he's thinking. Like if you know
It-
the whole context,
exactly. Yeah.
the movie works so good again as well with Darius, because you told me the context before. So I was picturing, okay, all these guys are students and they are really bad actors, but it feels so real. Everything feels so
Well,
real.
and that's
Yeah.
that's he talked about that in an interview, and he says the hardest part is especially being in Canada as well and not having money, we just don't have access to the same caliber of actors. So, and that's part of the reason why he lies to people and does like the kind of like gotcha style filmmaking, is because when they don't know they're in a movie, they're not acting.
It's more
And so
authentic. Yeah.
it feels real, right? Where you can get an actor to pretend that way, but if you get a nobody to say, "Hey, you're doing this scene where this is what you're saying," they're going to be trying to act and not react.
Yeah.
And so that's how he gets these just genuine performances out of people, is he tricks them.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's pretty clever. I honestly love what I've seen so far of Operation Avalanche, and I do plan to go back and finish it.
Mhm.
But I do agree. I think that I'm glad that you brought this to our attention and everything. But I think if it were just me and I didn't know the context of this film and how they were made and how the brilliant way in which he tricked everyone to make these films for him.
Mhm.
I don't know that if I had seen this film myself or a trailer for it or something, I don't think it would be something that I would pick up. But I'm so glad that you did recommend that to us, because it's fascinating. It's amazing what he's done there.
Yeah.
So, and I do plan to finish Operation Avalanche because it's really intriguing, and I love
Well, you
that
better,
story.
because we're going to talk about it even more next week.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, but you gotta watch the Darius. I don't
Jared,
know.
you actually watched Operation Avalanche, so talk to me about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to wait until next week to talk about it.
Oh, if we want like spoiler stuff, okay, just give me like general stuff.
I liked it. I thought the film style was fitting for what they were doing. It was interesting because the story definitely developed in a way that I wasn't expecting it to. Right?
Bye,
Like,
Jacob Ironside. Thanks for tuning in.
Yep.
You're gonna have to come back on the show. So.
Yeah, so I definitely felt like it was nice because I didn't really see where it was going, right? So it wasn't one of those movies where I was like, oh, this is what's gonna happen. Like this guy's gonna, betray him, or this is gonna. So it was
Yeah.
nice to be able to see to actually kind of
Yeah.
just let it happen and be like, oh, okay, where's this going next, or how is this gonna end up? Also, I thought it was really good, like the story that was told. It was, I mean, it was fun. It's one that I haven't seen anything about it before, and so I thought it was interesting that somebody would even think to make a movie like this to literally
Mhm.
say, hey, this is
And-
about, like it's filmed as if it's a documentary of the
Yeah.
moon landing, as if
Yeah.
that was fact, right? Even though that's a conspiracy theory, and so it's like,
It's also
Yeah.
like because everyone knows, the conspiracy theory around the moon landing, and they think it is faked, and 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 he clearly wanted to make a movie about that,
Yeah.
but this approach is actually like really believable. Like how it's
Yeah,
presented,
it's really
it's
brilliant.
not the far out there. Oh, Stanley Kubrick filmed the moon landing and all this stuff. It's a twist on the conspiracy theory and on the moon landing, and it presents the story in a way that you're like, maybe
yeah,
maybe that's what they actually did.
yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely adds to it. You're like, oh shoot, wait, like did we get it right? Like, but at the same time, you just gotta believe what you believe. But yeah, it definitely, after watching all of it, I was
No,
like, wait a
no,
second.
Mark Clark, no, we haven't even talked. No, we haven't
Yeah.
spoiled the movie.
Yeah,
Yep.
so that's the thing. Like it's about that, like, but that kind of shifts like in the first third of the movie. Like the first third of the movie is when it shifts into that, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like
Yep.
but that's what I'm saying, because the first third I was watching it and I was like, okay, this is an interesting movie. It's gonna be some like spy sabotage,
Yeah.
like like maybe James Bond sort of thing. And then all of a
And
sudden
the-
I was like,
and it shifts,
wait,
but
this
they
is a different
don't
movie.
abandon the setup either.
Yeah, and it all made sense. Like later on, I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, this makes sense with the first of the movie." So all of this kind of ties together well,
Mhm.
and so it was really well. I thought it was really well done. It was definitely a different style. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't a different style because that style of film has been done
Yeah.
before, but it was a good way of telling the story, but like keeping you on your toes about how he was telling the story. And I liked it, but I think it is one of those movies where you have to watch it all the way through to really enjoy it, because
Mm.
they're
Oh, yeah.
like, you do
I
get
plan
through
to.
it and you're like, oh, okay, like this is a weird film.
It's one of this doesn't come up much, but this happens to be one of those movies that's more enjoyable when you watch the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it, Jared. I get it.
Yeah,
I'll
you have
finish
to
it.
watch it, the whole
I
thing.
plan to.
Because even at the end, I was like, oh shoot, yeah, like I didn't even like, I was so focused on the other part of the story that I didn't really focus on this part. And so it's interesting. And then there was some things where I was like, oh, okay, like anyway. So if I talked about this part, it would go into spoilers. But like even the ending, it left me,
Yeah.
as it was going through, I was like, wait, like, is this gonna work out? Is it not gonna work out? Like what's happening? Like how's this gonna end? Like,
Oh, it's good.
well, I thought it was good. Yeah.
My favorite part is just like the Matt's character, just his like blind optimism. He's like, "Can you believe we're getting paid to do this, guys? Like,
Yeah.
isn't this the coolest job ever?" Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's like, he's basically like, yeah, because he's like, we're getting paid to pretend like we don't know anything, to then actually fake the moon landing, which isn't happening, but we're gonna make it look like it's happening so that NASA thinks it's happening.
And again, same thing as the Dirties. It's a perfect cover for them being inexperienced and awkward at acting and everything.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
just
and
like
that's
the
the thing.
Dirties, they're making
Well,
the movie of the documentary in the film itself.
and that's
Yeah.
what's brilliant. They wrote their characters to be exactly who they are in real life. So
Yeah.
the character
Same
in the
names and
movie
everything, yeah.
Operation Avalanche is a guy it's a guy who just wants to make movies, but he's in the CIA, right? And yeah, so and they talked about that. They're like, our cover story for making the movie was exactly the same as our cover story for our characters when we go into NASA, which enabled us to, in real life, sneak around and be nervous that we were going to be caught. And it translates perfectly into the film because that's what our characters would be feeling. And it's just, it's brilliant. It's really, really good. And I
And again, too, the way that it was edited as well, because they have real footage of interviewing real NASA scientists, and you could just tell in some of the scenes that they said something, and then it cuts to a different part of the conversation.
And the context is totally different.
Yeah, the context is completely different. It's
but
great.
In your mind, you can hear,
yeah,
oh, they're talking about something else in real life, but it works perfectly for this scene.
There's a perfect example when he's talking about moon rocks, and he says, so you're telling me that if I were just to pick up a normal rock from Earth, no one would be able to tell if it was a moon rock or not.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, there's the normal person, they couldn't tell any difference.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, it was good. It was clever. So,
watch Operation Avalanche. It's free on YouTube right now, everybody. Yeah. It's free on YouTube.
And it's another one that I want to watch behind the scenes stuff or interviews and find out how he did it, how he put it all together, because it's fascinating.
Yeah, well, it was good too, because then there were like funny moments where you're like, oh yeah, okay, that's how they're gonna fake it. Okay, yeah, like oh yeah, they're just buying a bunch of sand. Oh yeah, okay, like
yeah.
Yeah, this man is just he's a genius, and then Blackberry is just as good. And I wish I could recommend the TV show, but unless you live in Canada, it is impossible to watch. It because what happened was that Nirvana the band, the show, is the TV show. It's just him and his friend, the guitar teacher from the Dirties. Every episode is a different harebrained scheme to get a gig at the Rivoli. And they're con men. They're just trying to get a show. They're trying to play a show. And so, so they filmed 2 seasons on Viceland, Canada, and they were halfway through filming season 3 when Viceland, Canada, was dissolved. So they didn't get fired; their bosses did. And then they decided to just finish filming season 3 with their own money. So it's done, and it's been done for years, and it hasn't been released yet because they're trying to work through the legal process of finding a new,
syndication
of releasing, rights and transferring all that stuff. It's been done for years.
So does each show end with, hey Jay, what do you want to do tomorrow night? Same thing we do every night.
Basically. Like some of the first one is, no one knows that we're a band, so let's hang up a giant banner, of us saying Nirvana the band, the show, with our phone number, and something goes horribly wrong, and they have to fix it. And then the second episode is, so they're looking at the listings, the concert listings in the newspaper, and they're like, well, so the Rivoli doesn't like us. What if we just go to the magazine and put a listing in at the Rivoli, and then we'll just show up and say, hey, no, we're playing here. It says so. And so they sneak into the news station, and then and they go and steal the phone from the venue and call and like it's great. They call the news station to say, hey, we're booking Nirvana the band, the show, or Nirvana the band for this time. And then they get the newspaper, and it's printed wrong because obviously they thought it was Nirvana, not Nirvana the band, but the characters are too stupid. They don't realize that Nirvana is a real band. And so it's misprinted. So then they have to sneak into the news place and then call the Rivoli and tell them, oh, we accidentally misprinted. It's supposed to be Nirvana the band and not
Not just Nirvana.
Yeah.
And
You sure it wasn't supposed to be Nerdvana?
the
Nice plug there.
the finale of episode 1
Season 1.
of season 1 is they're in a bank.
Oh dear.
And it's wonderful.
Just gonna leave us hanging, huh? I can
Okay.
imagine several scenarios.
just
Roll it down to the
okay.
bank.
You know how in certain situations where there are hostages,
Mhm.
how
Familiar
people
with
give,
those.
people
Wait, what?
give like a list of demands to the police. Just
Oh dear.
just imagine if one of those demands was for Nirvana the band to get a show at the Rivoli.
Oh wow.
It's brilliant. And then, like I explained before, one of the episodes is, oh, let's get famous by sneaking a film into the Sundance Film Festival. And so they use the premiere in real life of Operation Avalanche to film this episode of their TV show. And during their interviews throughout all of Sundance, in character, they would sneak in lines. So they did real interviews, and then randomly would sneak in a line with, "Oh yeah, what was your favorite part of the Sundance experience?" "Oh, it was just wonderful to be able to to get our film playing here." I mean, just to sneak a film into Sundance is just, it was such a cool experience. And like in the context of the interview in real life, that makes sense. You're like, oh, I feel lucky that I got my film in, right? And then in the context of the show, no, they actually snuck their film in and it became a media sensation. Like, oh, look at the guys that snuck their film into Sundance. And then people started interviewing them. And so they're using the footage that happened in real life for their TV show. Oh, yeah, I'm the guy that snuck the film into Sundance. And like, oh gosh, it's so
fun.
good. It's so brilliant.
Yeah. That's pretty good. I hope it gets syndicated somewhere and you can be streaming
Somewhere.
on
The
in
second
US.
it does, I'll be pushing it. But I mean, I did send you guys a link of where you can find some of the episodes, but I don't want to push it to a general audience.
Yeah.
It's so good. Anyway, this Matt Johnson's genius, and you guys need to do your homework so we can gush about him more next week. Well, I'll finish Picard. That's what I'm committed to. We'll talk Picard next week. And Bearded. Oh, you watched Elemental
And the Secret
Yeah.
Wars.
and Secret Wars. I
is
watched
what
Secret
we'll talk
Wars
about.
and Picard. And Secret Invasion. Sorry, Secret Invasion. Secret Wars was also
Whatever.
delayed.
Secret something.
Secret Wars was
One of the
also
secret ones. Yeah, that
so.
was,
Secret Wars and the reign of Kane were
King Boy.
both delayed
Yeah.
by a year.
so we got secret
Yep.
show we're watching. Secret movie is delayed. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, how was
Um,
Elemental? I assume, I don't know. It looked just dumb.
Honestly, it was good. I'm not going to say that everybody here is going to love it, but honestly, to me, I really liked it. It reminded me a lot of Zootopia. So, one of the things that I really liked about Zootopia was the way that they present this new world, this different kind of world building aspect here, which was fun. And there's just little things here and there that are like, oh hey, that's kind of cool. That if there's a world of elements or people that are elements or whatever, that might be how it would work. But what's really kind of cool about it is it's an immigrant story and talking about kind of how you build a business and establish yourself in a community that may not be your consistent with your, but you're also seeing like how they're bringing their own culture into things and all that. But what I really loved about it, and this is one of the things that I loved about Zootopia too, is the way that it has a message, but in a way where it talks about prejudice and the way what prejudice can do to people and how it affects different people, but it doesn't villainize anyone from my perspective. From what I see as I watch like Zootopia, the perspective of why people were, for example, in Zootopia, assuming that it was the predators who were doing all the bad things is because they were predators, and even if it's not really the case anymore, you can understand why everybody was assuming that the predators would be like that. That's the reason that these predators are attacking. So
if you want to make a movie about like prejudices, make it analogous.
Yeah.
That's what.
So it's analogous, but also at the same time, like the parallels aren't too strong to any one particular, like, there's a group that's like it fits this stereotype, but not that stereotype. They make jokes about bunnies not being able to be good to drive, not being good at driving. Is that a joke about someone's race, or is that someone's gender, or whatever it is? Like it's just bunnies aren't good at driving, and so you can make a joke about
the bunnies are the Chinese
good at driving, but it's like, oh, which one is it going to be, right? But it's not just one stereotype. And same thing with this one too. It's not as cut and dry of that. I will say there are aspects of it that'll probably annoy the crap out of you guys with the way that they present the one water character. But I also think that they did a good job of showing growth in that character and in the other the fire
non-binary.
I will say, just seeing the trailer, this was the first time that I thought a Pixar animation looked bad. Like I like the animation style. Some of the scenes, I was just like, I don't like this.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I didn't think it stood out to be like, wow, amazing, but it didn't bother me in any way, shape, or form. It was just a different style. But if it's not your style, it must not be your style.
I don't know.
I didn't think it looked bad. Sorry. I was just going to say, I didn't think it looked bad from the trailers, but I didn't think the plot looked particularly interesting. And I got that Zootopia vibes from the trailer as well. It just, I don't know. I didn't see anything wrong with it, but I don't know. It just didn't catch my interest.
Yeah, that's fair. I will say that the trailers that I saw of it, and I wasn't really watching the trailers a ton, but
there weren't a lot of trailers.
Yeah, there weren't a lot of. They weren't really pushing it a lot.
The reason for that, David, is because they took the entire marketing budget for Elementals and pushed it onto The Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so it didn't.
Which,
like it
by the way,
the
officially is a box office bomb.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah. I wasn't here when you guys talked about it. I'm sure you guys trashed on it and everything. I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I know David has heard my opinion on it.
None of us have seen it.
It's not perfect, and there are problems with it. But it's honestly, it's again, it's not a perfect movie. But I had a lot of fun with it. It was very enjoyable. She sang great.
It's all auto-tuned.
The CGI stuff. Okay.
I've heard the songs. I've heard the songs.
Yeah.
It is 100.
The clips that they've shown.
You can literally hear.
Very auto-tuned and out of
You can
sync.
literally hear her voice clipping.
Yeah.
In between her real voice and the auto-tune. Like,
the one
it's
that
really bad.
is really noticeable in the part of that war in the ending. Part of that war.
Yeah. It's horrible. It's
for
bad.
some reason, they put the auto-tune and then they take it out. It's really weird. It's really weird. The audio was really.
What it sounded like to me was it sounded more like it was almost more opera sized, where she kind of was playing with it more rather than the kind of just clean, part of your world.
I don't know if they fixed it in the
thing, but I don't know.
No, the first one is completely operastic.
I listened to the official
the
soundtrack.
Halle Berry one is like he's trying to do jazz, but bad. Yeah, he's trying to do bad jazz.
Also, Melissa McCartney's version of "Poor Unfortunate Souls."
Oh my God.
Literally, it's off key the entire time. They couldn't even auto-tune her voice correctly.
You know how hard is that to do?
I guess I'm not an audio critic then, because same thing with
you have
like
to
with the visuals.
Like
it doesn't throw me
a
off.
quarter of a note out of tune to not be able to fix it with auto-tune.
In auto-tune.
That's really hard. That's really hard.
The one that really bothered me when they did the auto-tune was Beauty and the Beast, because Emma Watson was that one. That one I noticed. That one gave auto-tune. This one I didn't notice any auto-tune, but again,
I don't know. The clips that I've seen, it seems worse than Beauty and the Beast. But I did notice in Beauty and the Beast that it sounded bad in the theaters, but it's still not perfect. But if you listen to the song on Pandora, they've remastered it just a little bit. It sounds a little bit better than it did in the theater.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
That's
Disney,
also the thing. It's
and
really hard to mix for theaters as well. It's really hard to mix for theaters. To be honest.
but
Yeah.
but this has been, you know, this isn't just Little Mermaid specific. For the ever since they started remaking the films, my biggest complaint, aside from, you know, the woke garbage, is that
The singing.
they do not know how to master songs.
yeah,
Like they
and
don't know how to mix,
even the performances
especially
themselves.
group numbers. Like listen to Prince Ali in Aladdin.
Yeah.
You if you hadn't grown up watching the film and have the lyrics memorized, you literally cannot hear what they are saying.
Yeah, I cannot tell
Yeah.
what.
And I liked Will Smith's rendition of it. I think he brought some interesting stuff to it. But even then, that's probably one of the better remade songs. But even then, all of the other songs they're lacking the gusto that the original ones had. They were so vibrant and like.
Mhm.
But
But
the
again,
other ones
like,
just
yeah,
they're
they-
just going through the motions and singing the lyrics, just
Yeah.
blah out there.
But it's even the
It's
music
lacking
behind
the heart.
the instrumentation. Like they try and modernize the instrumentation, and it just
Yeah.
it just turns it into just this bland mush.
I would put this about the same level as Aladdin. Again, I didn't like Aladdin was good, and I
Probably.
really liked Aladdin, but it was that
Yeah.
same level of like it was almost good enough to make me feel like I could occasionally consider watching this instead of the other one. Although I'd still much rather watch the original. Like
No,
I'd still
dude, come
definitely
on.
rather
The
watch the
original.
original. But
Yeah,
no,
come on.
I
No.
agree with you. I'm absolutely definitely watch the original, and I prefer the original. I'm just saying.
Well, see,
These
I
two
took a
are two of the
cue.
ones that I felt like were the closest to being the right balance of remaking what it was while adding just a few new things in there. Again, Beauty and the Beast was another one where it started getting some of those things, but again, the music with it was just off, and they added too much stuff to it. Whereas like the Lion King, they didn't add enough new stuff to it. So.
Well, see, I took
I
a cue from the people who were pushing this film and all of, you know, and the race swap, who they came out and said, you know, you're not allowed to identify with character unless they have the same skin color as you. So I told my girls that they're not allowed to like this version of Ariel because she's black. I'm that. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if I did that? Like, how racist is that?
Mhm.
But these
They
people
don't
are
see it.
actually telling their kids, you are not allowed to identify with characters if they're not the same skin color as you.
Yes.
It's disgusting.
The way their brains work, it's different than ours. That's my opinion. They see reality in a different way that we do in that part, like when it comes to perception of reality.
I will argue a little bit that I think there is a little bit more nuance to that with a couple of different things, but I definitely agree that there is a lot of problems that are associated with the way that's presented in terms of this is the only way you can enjoy it because now you can identify when you couldn't before. And
well, the film is no longer breaking $1,000 a day per theater, so it's
I mean
it's flatlined the curve.
It's going off the Marianas Trench. You know?
It will not reach 500,000.
100 million. But
which is if you hadn't spent a single penny on marketing, which we already know they spent double.
Breaking even.
That's the number you would need to get to just
break even.
And even that is money. It's either twice as much to 3 times as much, depending. But if we're giving them the benefit of the doubt, you have to make twice your budget to not lose money.
There was a lot of marketing. That girl was in Mexico for like 2 weeks. Like, did you see the video?
In my entire life, I have never seen as much marketing for any other film than I saw for Little Mermaid. It was everywhere.
There was a Spanish guy or Argentinian guy that was saying racist stuff to her, and she was like, didn't know what to say. I mean, the guy is woke, so he's liberal. So everything he was saying was racist, but because he was not translating well, everything he was saying was not racist in his mind, but because he was not translating well, because everything he was saying was racist by itself, like without context was racist. So she was like, what are you talking about?" And she was like, "I'm never coming back to Mexico or some country like that." And
Mm.
she was really angry about that. That was really really funny.
It's interesting how much of a difference context and things like that'll make.
Language
And
affects language.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, my always my only argument with this kind of race swappings is that if you race swap a character, but the only thing that you change is the color of the skin, for me that's racist because
what's
that's
the point? Yeah,
basically bad black
yeah,
facing.
yeah, okay,
Go ahead and go to the cartoon and just black face the girl, and you're going to get the same result. And for me, it was really troubling that they made her hair red, like
mm,
the because it's not completely unnatural.
mhm,
Um, and she has such beautiful hair. Why not just with her beautiful natural black diva power empowered woman hair, just leave it like that? Why have to change it? But again, like I
Yeah.
said,
yeah,
they only care about the color of the skin and the things that are not woke enough in the movie. So they change those things. Obviously, they add and they only make it worse. And that's the problem with when I have with the reboots and the whole thing with race
mhm.
swapping characters.
Yeah.
But
It's a
hey,
very good point.
they're gonna keep doing it. They want to keep doing it. So who cares?
Well, that's one of the reasons that I really actually do enjoy things like a Miles Morales, because it's not just like saying, "Oh, this
Yeah.
is just another person,"
Exactly.
but it's like
Right.
it's so much more because this is a new person that is going through some similar experiences, and but they are different, and so they have different, experiences with it. Not to mention, like he ends up with a few different powers and things like that, where it's like that's a really interesting story. And
Yeah,
honestly,
for sure.
again, since none of you have seen Across the Spider Verse, that's one of the things that I enjoyed about the way that they played around with it in Across the Spider Verse. Is there's a couple of different Spider people that you see in there. Obviously, you've got Spider Gwen, you've got Miles Morales, and things like that. There's two or three other ones where it's like this is kind of cool to see the different person and how yes, there are touch points that are really similar in losing a mentor and this, that, and the other, but how it affects them differently, and then how that their culture actually affects their powers
Exactly.
differently.
That's important. The culture,
So
and it's
I
not
really enjoy
a
that.
Exactly.
racist depiction of the culture like
Yeah,
Primos or like all everything
yeah,
Disney, right? It's funny. They know the culture. They probably went and they ask people that went through circumstances like that and say, "Oh, what do you feel like that? And who is your mentor?"
yeah.
And
Alan, you need to put that last thing from Martina on the screen, although she
This
just
one?
edited it. But yeah, the yeah, that one.
I'm
People
pretty
identify.
sure
Yeah,
she
sorry,
identified it as princesses.
it's the
But yeah,
next one. It's the people identify. That one is beautiful. People identify with human experience way more than human appearance, and that's
yeah,
absolutely should be the case.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
in
And
reality, is
yeah,
the case. But
and
yeah,
again, I think that's the reason why out of all of these, new characters, Miles Morales is the one that really works. Is because it's not just a race swap. He's got his own backstory. He's got his own struggles, and yeah, they mirror some of the other stuff, but it mirrors the culture. It mirrors his own experience, and it's wonderful. It's great.
mm-hmm.
wonderfully done. Yeah, exactly. And
Uh,
Well,
everything she's yeah.
and I'll even give an
I
example of from a really controversial, not controversial in the same way, but Last Jedi. Um, the again, I have my issues with the way that it's presented, but the way that ending scene is shown with the kids that like are
yeah, Broom
have been
Kid.
in slavery or whatever, and they're like, we saw this Luke Skywalker dude stand up to the First Order, and they're telling these stories, and they're inspired by that, regardless of what he looked like, or even the fact that most of them don't have Force powers. They were inspired by that act, and so it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, all this stuff is super important. That it's that human experience, that idea, which is where that next comment came in, with the idea of can relate on some level to stories of good triumphing over evil.
yeah,
No.
yes.
exactly. And the other thing is that I think I've said that this before, but whenever I saw a white character in the screen, acting like my favorite characters of all time, whites, Ben 10 and things like that. When I was a kid watching cartoons, um, I didn't see the color of the skin.
yeah,
I didn't never even noticed that Ash Ketchum was Asian or that
Mhm.
Ben 10 was I don't know
Yeah,
what
no, I
the guy
told I
was,
told
not
Elliot he's
Mexican.
he's not allowed to identify with Ash Ketchum.
And
Yeah.
we only saw the fun and the adventures and the messages that those cartoons taught us, not the freaking race is, and that's what gets me so angry. Why change the race, change the characters and adapt them to, or make new characters,
Yeah.
make new
Yeah.
characters. Where
And
do we
that's
put
one
them at?
that I think would be so good to be able to do, and especially because, like we were talking about before, with these different comics and how they've been like retold 10 different times or whatever. Like, I can
Yeah.
even get occasionally doing a reboot or something like that, or maybe like say, hey, we're going to hop over to this universe instead and tell what happened in this one that's a little bit different than the way it happened over in 616 or whatever the case may be. But
Yeah.
like even better is the like move forward to a new generation and a new set of heroes, but that are taking their own mantles, that are their own characters, that are their own thing. I will say that's one of the things that I haven't. One of the reasons why I haven't minded as much some of what's happening with the MCU, like recast versions, because a lot of them they are a new character moving into taking that mantle, but they are still being their own character. So I mean, just in that one way, even though again there's other problems with the way that they're doing it, but like
Yeah.
I don't know, there is some of that where it's moving forward rather than being like, well, we're just going to tell Steve Rogers' story again, but say that this time, I don't know, Peggy didn't die, or whatever. Peggy died before he got to camp, or I don't know, whatever. Like, yeah.
The
So
problem is there are so many other stories. Well, but that
you're
I
right
think
though. That would be even better.
what Marvel is
Absolutely.
doing is exactly what you're saying. They're saying, oh, we're going to tell the Captain America story again, except this time he's black and he's a completely different character. But it's
Well, but
Captain
it's not.
America. Trust us. Like
It's not going to be, but that's the thing. He's not going to get frozen in ice for 70 years and
but
wake up and have to deal
there
with a
are
different
so
world or
many
whatever.
good Falcon stories you could be telling.
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Again, I'm not
and
even saying it's the best option.
Mhm.
I'm just saying like that there is at least that to what they're doing with it. So I don't know.
yeah,
That's
and
the
my
thing.
problem with the Falcon, is because the only thing that's different between Captain America and this new Captain America is the color of the skin and their entitledness to that color of the skin. And that's the only difference. Like he spends the whole show being the same as Captain America, trying to be the same, but the only difference is like you gotta do better, Senator, or something like that, or apologizing, apologizing
Do
for terrorism.
better. I'm a black man wearing the stars and stripes. What don't I know? Apparently, a whole lot.
Hmm.
I still like the show. I still thought there was a lot of good there.
Because you think
But that was brain dead. We gotta
that
agree that
you
that
can
was
feed
brain
a
dead.
thousand people. You can feed 1,000 people
There-
with a phone call. You can
there's
change
nuance.
borders with
Yeah.
an email.
He was apologizing
There's
at
nuance
terrorists
there
as
that
well.
they did not hit as well as they could have in any way, shape, or form. But there is nuance there that they tried to play with it. They kind of just laid the seeds of it that I don't think they really got to.
No, no, no,
So
no. That scene was brain
yeah,
dead.
that again, that scene was them trying to culminate into paying off a lot of things that there's a lot more
You gotta
nuance
do
to it that they didn't really play around with at all with that. So
Yeah.
Well,
you gotta do better. Senator. That was hilarious.
yeah,
But
was
yeah,
another-
they only changed the entitledness and the liberalism, and
Mhm.
it's not anymore about Captain America, which is all about freedom and fighting for good and justice and the American way, whatever. Almost like Superman, but an American, American Superman.
Mhm.
Yeah.
but
And then
guys,
they changed it to terrorist Superman.
So, sorry, just another quick thing that I was just going to toss out here. It's totally unrelated. So, if we want to get back to this, we can. I also decided to watch The Boogeyman, the
Okay.
scary movie that came out.
there's a
It was a
Boogeyman movie.
Yeah. It's a 20th Century Fox movie. It's based on a Stephen King novel that I just read the synopsis of the Stephen King. Well, it's not a novel. I think it's a short story. And I just read the synopsis of the short story. I'm like, I definitely see where they went from that to this. That short story, even the synopsis of that short story is still
It's better.
so much better than what this movie was. The movie was fine. It was a dumb, whatever scary movie. But I wanted
Where
to
is
just
it?
toss
Where
it
is
out
it?
since it's in the
Is it
middle.
in the movies or is it
It's in the
on a
theaters. It's
platform?
another theater one.
It's
Well,
in
again, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where it
It's
is.
just that I love
Yeah.
bad movies.
It's a couple weeks old, so it may have already moved out because I don't think I was hearing good things about it coming out. Again, it's
I
not
didn't even
so
know.
terrible, but it's like okay,
Oh,
it is.
okay. It's
I
just that I
figured I'd
love
toss that
movies
out
that
there.
are so bad that they are good.
Yeah,
I love
it's
that
not
kind of
quite
movies.
there. There were a couple times where it almost pushed into that
Almost
line where
go
I'm
there.
like,
Oh,
ooh, some of those lines would be really fun to laugh at in the like, oh my gosh, this is such a bad movie. That's such a just ridiculous line. It pushes that line a handful of times. So that was good. I wanted to toss that one out there. With in terms of like talking about entertainment that we have going on.
Yeah.
Speaking of movies that are coming out, guys, aren't you? Are you so excited? Because next week we get No Hard Feelings.
Oh dear.
The Jennifer
no.
Lawrence sex comedy.
If I'm being
Yeah,
totally
that-
honest, I'm excited to see
The one where the
interesting
plot of the
Christmas that is.
movie is a 30-year-old woman trying to seduce a teenager.
Mhm.
Not
Not
just
I
that,
do-
being paid to try and seduce a
Being
teenager.
paid by his parents to try and
Yeah.
seduce a teenager.
Yeah.
I'm
Only
expecting
ones
that
who
to be
watch it
all sorts of
to
awful, but I'm expecting it also to be
criticize it.
just the wrong kind of funny.
It's $70 million the
Ooh.
budget,
Well, that's
Oh,
probably
which
mostly
like
Jennifer
probably
Lawrence.
there was like
Yeah.
probably 100 million of what is it called marketing, because I saw it everywhere in YouTube, in Facebook, in Twitter. I saw it
Mhm.
everywhere. The,
Yeah,
the trailers. It was well promoted, so they spend a lot of money. So they are trying
Mhm.
at least to make a little bit, but it's not making
Yeah,
not going to make any money.
I don't expect it to be a good
No.
movie, but yeah, it's yeah.
What else coming out next week? Like,
Jennifer Lawrence is older than I am
no
By,
way.
by a year. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, okay, 6 months.
Still, she's older.
Yeah. But Asteroid City also drops this week, which I am excited for.
I haven't actually ended up watching an entire trailer of that, but I've been hearing interesting things.
I kind of stopped. I saw the first trailer and I'm like,
Oh.
okay, no, I'm gonna watch a Wes Anderson movie and I don't want to
Mhm.
see any more trailers.
You know what's hilarious? That Elemental is not yet in Mexico, but Asteroid City is already
What?
yeah. I didn't go to see it because, but there was like a pre screening.
Huh.
Cool.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
I wanted to watch it, but I don't know. Wes Anderson is really good, but it comes to a point where it's too much. And
Yep.
that
This
happens
one-
with
this-
all his movies.
yeah.
I hope this movie
this
is
one
different.
looks really different though. This one looks like
Mhm.
a Life Aquatic. You know, it's like, oh, it's a completely different
Looks
setting.
like he mature. Looks like he mature, and he's not doing that too much. Visual vomit that he likes to put in all his movies.
I don't know. Moonrise Kingdom and the Grand Budapest Hotel are so good. I love
Moonrise
those.
Kingdom is a weird movie, though.
It's funny as heck.
It's a weird movie, though. Maybe I didn't get it. I didn't got it. I need to rewatch it in English. I saw it in Spanish by some reason.
I honestly have obviously missed a month of shows or whatever, but I haven't heard any updates on your books for a little while that you've been reading.
Oh, I'm reading Dune.
Nice.
So I just did a whole bunch of live streams, dude. So
I did see that you did some of those. Yeah.
since I started when I went to California, I started the Dune series. So I read I've talked about most of this already, but I read Dune and then Dune Messiah, and then I read The Hobbit, and then I read the Arcane Ascension book 2, which it was fine. And then I read another Terry Pratchett. I read his YA book, the marvelous Maurice, the amazing Maurice and his educated rodents, which was one of the best books by Terry Pratchett I've read yet. I cried, and it was fantastic. And now and then I finished Children of Dune. I feel like I skipped something. I finished Children of Dune, and now I'm currently reading God Emperor of Dune, and halfway through, man, it's the weirdest thing I've ever read, but it's the best Dune book so far. they get better every single one. I was like, oh wow, I really like Dune. Dune Messiah, wow, that was even better. And then Children of Dune, well, yeah, that was obviously better than that. And then God Emperor is, it's so weird. It's so weird, and yet it's amazing. So
Nice.
I feel like there had to have been something in between that, but
So on the book lines, one of the things that I just came across that I was like, ooh, I have access to all these audiobooks that I can read. Any of you guys ever read those old Animorph books?
Yep.
Heck
I
yeah.
came across those on audiobook. Those are so freaking good. Like
Yeah,
they're
you get-
definitely like kid books, but they have like deep like war themes in them, and
Oh, yeah.
they're really good. So I've been
Dude,
listening to those.
The betrayal of their friend David, which
Mhm.
I'm
Yep.
David, so like
Yep.
I was like, oh, this is awesome. I got a character
Have
named
a
after me,
David.
and then I'm like, no,
No.
David, no.
Yeah, you're like, no, stop it, David. No, this bad David. No. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
for
stuff.
sure. Yeah, I was big into the Animorphs.
Very good stuff. Anyway, I wanted to plug that, so that's why I asked about what books you were reading. That's the only reason I cared, because I
Yeah.
wanted to talk.
Although
about
with an
what I was
audiobook,
listening
you
to.
don't get the awesome flip through corner
Well,
evolution.
as you know, because when I was out there, we were at DI and
Yeah.
found another book, and I'm like, I've
At
been
the thrift
trying
store.
to get more of the series of the actual physical books so that I can do that, because I'd forgotten actually about that until maybe like that. I think it was actually the week after I was out there. I forgot that they had that in the bottom corner where you could.
That was the
flip through
main
and watch
catch
them
of
all.
those books,
That was
man.
freaking awesome.
You had your
That was
friend
really
an
fun,
Animorph
yeah.
book, you're like, watch this. Man, you were
Yeah.
hooked.
It was awesome. Good stuff for sure. Yeah, because they're super short books, and so you listen to them, especially at like 1.5, 2 times speed. They're like 3 hours to begin with, and they're only like an hour and a half long. It's like,
Yeah, there you
burning
go.
through 'em. The only problem is that the side stories, the chronicles and the megamorphs and stuff like that,
Yeah.
those aren't on the audio stuff for the library that I've got. So I'm having to figure out how to get a hold of those.
I'll be doing another Dune stream as soon as I finish God Emperor
Nice.
with that.
What
That's
is Dune Part 2 coming
That's the
out?
last book in the series, right? It's November that it's coming out.
Okay.
September, it's November. Oh.
November. Yeah. Still several months away.
Okay, the Wheel of Time in September.
Oh.
So
Gracious
I probably won't watch Asteroid City opening weekend. I'll probably catch it on a discount day next week. So but I'm gonna watch Asteroid City for sure. And then Indiana Jones is on June 30th. Which
I gotta rewatch those original ones.
I
And
have
that other fourth one.
Yeah.
I haven't decided if I'm going to watch it or not. If you guys want me to, I will. It's one of those things where I'm fairly certain I've seen enough of the promotional material to know that I'm going to hate it.
Yeah.
And I'm rarely wrong. So I don't know if I want to bother. It might, and it doesn't look like it's going to be fun to make fun of either. But I will see it if I'm coerced into it.
Well, I no longer have the monetary funds to watch a lot of films on here, especially
You
with
used your next 3 months of budget at the comic book store.
Yeah. I made unreasonable purchases, bad financial decisions without any monetary income. Do we just?
I don't know what that was. Can you hear me? Are we still live?
You disappeared for a little bit
understand.
there. We were there, and David suddenly cut out when you popped back in. But
Don't do it.
and now, yeah, he's back in.
Yeah, we're still live. That was weird. Something happened on my end.
Weird.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm seeing it now. I disappeared, and then everyone disappeared. Okay. Mark Clark, as a channel member, I allow you to not watch it.
Watch go while you're talking.
Don't do it. But, it could be fun to totally rag on, too. So,
Time will tell.
I don't know. We'll see about that one, because that one's June 30th, and then July is pretty busy. July, we've got Mission Impossible Part 1. Ooh, I'm so...
That one looks good.
I'm so
Like
hyped for
Tom
that
Cruise.
movie.
After freaking Top Gun Maverick, I would die for Tom Cruise, man.
Would
That
you convert
movie's
to
gonna give us
Scientology for Tom
chills.
Cruise?
That movie's gonna give us that chills, you know that.
What'd you say, David?
I said, would you convert to Scientology for Tom Cruise?
No. I would kiss a Scientologist. Okay,
My problem is I've only seen the first Mission Impossible, and I think part of the
They're
beginning
good.
of the third.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna want to try to watch all the other ones before I get to it. So
Yeah, I don't remember if I
Right,
watched
but I don't
the
know.
third one or the fourth one, but I need to catch up, rewatch them
Yeah.
again because
there's a lot of
Ooh,
things
they're
that I need to
good.
catch up and watch because like I
That
said, all those
opens
DC
the-
ones that I want to do. And
that opens the second week of July, and then the next week
man,
is Barbie and Oppenheimer.
I watched there's a newer trailer for Barbie that just came out that we watched when it was on Elemental, and that movie
Man.
looks like it's going to be so ridiculous. And
I don't know what to think of that. It's
I know. The latest trailer gives the best idea of what it seems like the movie's actually going to be about. Because the rest of them are just like
I just don't know what the audience is because it's
did they
it's a
play the same-
Barbie movie, but it looks like it's more adult themed. But
yeah, so it's rated PG-13, so it won't be like full R or anything, but it's definitely not going to be for kids from the
Did
sound.
they
of it.
That's
hold
so
on though?
weird.
Did they play the same? So they played the trailer in Elemental. Was it the same trailer where they make the masturbation joke?
No.
The one that
Again,
they
it was
put
also
the
funny
one
it was there.
the trailer that they played in front of the Mario movie where I took my kids to go see, and they're making masturbation jokes in the trailers.
Yep, no. So it wasn't that trailer. It was a different trailer, and it gives a little bit better picture of what the movie's going to be about. It does say in that thing, hey, if you like Barbie, you're going to like this, or this movie's for you. If you don't like Barbie, this movie's for you. So I mean, that's of course marketing gimmicks and whatever. I don't expect it'll be a movie that anybody here is going to love, but I'm
probably not
excited
even
to
gonna
watch that
watch
and be
it.
like, all right, that'll be interesting.
Yeah,
I'm more interested in seeing people talk about Barbie than seeing
Exactly.
Barbie.
Yeah.
yep.
So.
But Oppenheimer, that one looks good.
Oppenheimer,
Yeah,
I'm again excited for, and I better find a job quick because.
But you
I
know
want
what?
to see that one.
excited for?
I want to see.
You know what I'm excited for?
No,
The
for those
Marvels
reasons, not
in
because of
November
eating
10th.
food or
What
The
is
Marvels,
What?
baby. The
Marvel
Marvels
Oh, the
drops
Marvels.
November 10th.
Nah, that's
Screw-
going to
That's
be.
finally happening, huh?
Screw Dune Part 2. I can't wait for the Marvels.
I actually am really excited for the Marvels because I really liked Miss
No.
Marvel, and I'm excited to see what that goes into.
You're gonna be disappointed, but hey, let's wait till
That's the
we
thing. It's
get
me.
to
I
talk.
might not be disappointed.
I don't know, man. This movie looks so horrific that even you might get disappointed by it.
It's possible, but yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
it has happened
TV.
before.
In regards to TV, it's Secret Wars and nothing.
Secret Invasion?
Secret show.
Secret show.
Yeah, secret show
It's
that
a
nobody
secret
Isn't there
knows
show.
about.
Isn't there
It's
like
like-
Loki season 2 or something sometime?
I think that
Yeah,
doesn't.
so
Next
I
year.
think that's not till
Beginning of August, I
24.
think.
24.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was dropping this
In
year.
summer of 24 because they pushed
Huh.
it back. It was supposed to come this year, but because they pushed the Marvels, they had to push the rest of the things like a couple of months.
Stuff
I
that
don't think
happens
summer,
after.
but like around like February or something like that next year.
Huh.
Yeah, there's that one, and
Okay
then
then.
September is
I meant spring. Yeah, I meant spring.
September's Wheel of Time. I don't think anything's coming out in August, so that's what's
That's sad.
That's gonna be the draw
Ahsoka
anyway.
is at the end of
Yeah.
August.
So
at the end. Yeah, so
Loki
not
season
in
2
August.
was supposed
Oh,
to be in
One Piece.
October.
One Piece.
Yeah, it
I'm
was.
still seeing it down as October 6th, 2023, but yeah. I'm
Yeah,
also still
I
seeing
don't. I
Echo
think it's
and-
still slated for October.
oh.
Mhm,
Oh,
maybe.
Echo.
Huh.
Well, again, this is a Disney News website that I'm looking at here. Echo is scheduled for November 29th, but it sounds like they just probably pushed that or did something with it. And then also Ironheart is still scheduled for fall of 2023. So we'll see what happens with that.
I haven't heard
Can't wait.
any
The other
news
one that
on
actually y'all might be excited about, depending on what ends up happening, although I've heard nothing about it, is X-Men 97, the continuation of the old X-Men show.
Not excited.
See,
No,
I just went back and I'm starting
they've
to
said
watch
that-
all of
all the
the
interviews.
X-Men again.
They've said our goal is to modernize it.
Yeah, that's.
That
I'm
seems
not.
like a
I'm
dumb
not
choice
looking
when
forward
you're
to
like,
that.
we're trying to pick up the story from where we left off. Like, If you're going to reboot something and do a new thing, right? That okay, sure, that makes sense. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, yeah, this thing's actually behind because it. Oh no, that's for
That's what it was. It was Good Omens, I think, that season 2, which
Ooh.
I'm not excited for because you only have half of the authors, but I'm
Hey.
curious. Like, it might
Yeah.
not be terrible. Season 1 was great, but it was also written by Terry Pratchett. So
Yeah,
that's
a good
the
book.
problem.
I'm
Like,
gonna-
the balance between Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman was perfect.
Yeah.
And
I-
I like Neil Gaiman. I don't love him, and I feel like he's a little bit too pessimistic, a little bit too atheistic to write a season 2 by himself. But maybe he'll do a good job because he's written some really great stuff. But it was the balance. It was the balance that made Good Omens so good.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm actually going to have to take off. I got a
Yeah.
couple things to take care of.
I think we're just about done here anyway. So
Yeah,
I figured
yeah.
you probably were, but I gotta cut it here. So
Yeah, thanks for
Bye,
thanks for
Jared.
tuning in, man.
Yep, thanks for having me, and then hopefully we'll be able to chat some more. Yeah. See you
yeah,
next time.
Watch the
Bye.
video. Bye.
Anyway, now that idiot's gone,
Yeah.
did you see his beard today? Oh,
Oh, fine.
anyway,
awkward silence.
no, we like Jared, even though he's simp. a Marvel
Yeah.
CEO.
Well, again, it's about that balance, bro. I think you're too pessimistic. We got Bearded having the optimism, and then the rest of us are somewhere in the middle.
Mhm.
It's a balance,
I am optimistic.
just like Terry
but-
Pratchett and
Neil Gaiman.
Neil Gaiman.
Yeah, it's
I
about
mean-
the balance. It's
Mhm.
about the balance, and also me being right.
Oh, okay. I guess it helps that it's your show.
Yeah, we are optimistic about good stuff.
And if you disagree, it is my show.
Yep.
But Isom number 2. Draw.
Yeah.
Man, this is glitchy right now. I
That
can't
looks
share
freaking good.
Windows. Yeah, I liked part 1. I'm excited for part 2. It's currently making
Holy moly!
It's been a week. They launched it like during, I think, Sunday.
Yeah,
No, they launched it Monday. It launched Monday.
Yeah, Monday.
Yeah. It's been less than a week.
And they're already million. The Isom part 1, I believe, was 3 million. They're halfway there already. So I'm curious to see. I'm curious to see if campaign 2 gets more or a little bit less. What's nice about the campaign is there's options to buy both of them, part 1 and 2, so if you want to catch up. I have a feeling this is going to be bigger than part 1.
Yeah.
I think it's maybe like 5 million or 4.
Yeah, I'm super excited for it. I want to support the guy. It's just really
It's a lot.
expensive for just yeah.
It's a lot.
The
It doesn't look
comics
like
have always
that.
been expensive as is, but you're buying one single and then you have to pay an extra $10-15 for shipping.
Yeah.
On top of that,
How much it is?
It's 35, but plus shipping. It's like an extra 10.
I mean,
so-
but
Yeah.
he knows that he can sell it. The things that he knows his market.
Yeah.
Knows that he can sell, and he knows that conservatives, they are willing to pay for something that is not garbage. And
it's good. It's a
especially-
thick.
yeah.
It's a thick boy. So the first one was, and I'm assuming
Yeah,
this
but
one's going to be the
imagine-
same or if bigger.
You
But
just went to the comic store to buy Superman revives, right? Imagine
Yep.
the people that already has that book or that already read all of the good comic books from the golden era of comic books, and they run out of them. They are like, I want to read new things, new comic books, because they are no longer good ones, and the new ones are complete garbage, like unreadable. And then
Yeah.
this guy comes and okay, he's like, you support me. Right now I'm going to give you the comic book that you want, and you are guaranteed that it's going to be good, that is going to have a hard work involved, and that's going to the money is going to people that they don't hate you. And I think that's
Exactly.
something important for people nowadays.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what you're paying for, right? That's what you're paying for people that don't hate you. And
Yep.
it is expensive, and I am not going to
But
buy
it's
it.
good.
I cannot buy it. I
Yeah.
cannot get it.
My chair just broke. The
Holy,
arm.
Lovely.
The arm is
holy,
like I can't
yeah.
get it back down.
Um, but yeah, I wish I could get it. I need to make a
Ah,
um request to this guy. What's the name? Eric Julian. The guy is
temporarily
Eric-
fixed.
Mexico, bro.
Eric
I'm
July.
going
Eric July.
to
Eric July.
I'm going to sell it for you in Mexico because he could sell like a lot in Mexico. That kind of people nowadays in Mexico are really geeky, you know.
So yeah, it's not. It is. It's not the thickest comic ever. Let's compare it. Let's compare it to Batman Year One. Okay,
Yeah, it's probably about the same size as Batman Year One. Yeah.
It's about the same size. About the same size as Batman Year One or like the Dark Knight Dark Knight Returns. About the same. A little bit shorter.
Yeah.
It's good. It's $35, and Batman Year One is $15.
Yeah.
And Dark Knight Returns was 20.
Yeah.
So that's the
Exactly.
problem.
It's a little on the
But
more
this can
expensive
you
end, but again,
Yes, can you
it's a smaller print run, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be more expensive. I understand that, and I still want to support the guy.
And the
That's
value,
I hope
will
it.
go up. Like,
Oh yeah,
the value will
definitely for
go
sure.
up.
I'm just hoping that it gets more success here, so that he can make them cheaper with more bulk
That's what
runs
I'm
in the
hoping for.
future.
I hope that the price goes down in the future. I'm willing to pay it now. I hope
Yep.
it can come down a little bit because especially with shipping, that's almost $50.
Yep.
But,
I do want to quick address Mark Clark's comment there that I used to align closer to Bearded. I still do align closer to Bearded when it comes to Star Wars. It's just that I've been spurned by Marvel and Disney, and I do not. I'm done watching Marvel shows in the theater. I've said that many times, but I still am holding out hope that something will happen with Star Wars and they'll turn around. But it breaks my heart because I love it so much.
can't get it back in. Yeah, and then Jared is like usually like we're in sync until he starts simping for Star Trek.
Yeah.
Hey, we got to find something good in here. I mean, because Star Wars is trash now.
That's why you need to do your homework and watch all the Matt Johnson movies.
Hey, I watched that Indian show that you had. The town called
Town Called Panic?
Town
You watched the
Called
Town Called
Panic?
Panic? Isn't it the best thing you've ever seen?
Oh my gosh!
It's so funny. The shot. Okay, the best shot. The whole thing is like in the first like.
Hey, can you get this thing out of my face though?
No,
Come on, man.
no, sorry.
Seriously.
Best shot. It's the funniest thing when because they get the order of bricks, right? And then you're like, this is 10 million bricks. It's so good. It's so good. And then the guy comes home. The horse comes home, it's horse. Horse comes home, and the bricks are gone, and you're like, wait, what happened? What is this, like a continuity thing? Is this a mistake? Because it goes on for like 10 minutes, and then like 10 minutes later, it pans up and shows you where the bricks are, and it's so funny. It's so good.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I don't think is that the movie though that you're talking about?
Yeah.
Because I actually watched the TV show.
Okay. So you didn't do the homework.
I
No,
watched
it's the
TV
bricks.
show.
You gotta watch the movie. The TV show's good too. You gotta watch the movie. It's free. Where did
Okay,
you
I gotta
find the
watch
TV
movie.
show?
Dude, there was so many things on there where I was like, wait, is this what he's talking about? Or is this what he's talking about? I thought that was what you were talking about. It was good though. I mean, it's the same thing. It's just not
Yeah.
the movie of it.
Yeah, no. The TV show's okay, but it's more random, right? The movie
Yeah, it was
is like a narrative that's just it's so good. Okay, look, it's on
2009 film.
Plex. It's on look. It's on Plex. Go watch it. It's free. Go watch a Town Called Panic. It's only like 40 minutes. It's short.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like each episode was like 10 minutes, and I was like, okay, this is crazy, but it was fun. It was fun to watch. It's definitely a different. It's a different genre for sure. Like,
It's so funny. You go watch the movie. I haven't seen a
Yeah.
lot of the show. I've only seen parts of it. So
okay, well, the show was all right. I
show's
mean,
all
the
right.
whole cowboy and Indian.
Cowboy. It's cowboy, Indian, and horse. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Seriously, it
All
was
right.
weird. It was weird.
I got hair in my bag.
Oh, that's no good.
I fixed it though. It's fixed. It's bagged and boarded again. It's never been opened. It's
Yeah, but I
it's worth more.
hope.
I never took it out of the sleeve, guys.
But I
No
hope that
evidence to prove it.
guy brings ISOM to Latin America. That'll be fun.
Yeah. But what was cool about ISOM Part 2 is the announcement was their first production from ISOM Studios, which it was really good animation. They did a little animation thing to announce Part 2, and it was pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah.
It gets my heart pumped, gets me excited to see what's coming down the line. Because part of this campaign is if they would start another animated project, which maybe is cool. And then they're announcing all the spin-offs, the Yaira
He
spin-off,
managed
and
to do it. Like, he got a lot of milli already.
yeah. I'm just curious to see what it does in comparison. If it gets to 3 million, or if it gets a little bit less, or more. I can't wait. Can't wait to find out. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I guess there's a couple other news things I could show you. Did you guys see the comics broke me hashtag on Twitter? A bunch of comic book artists are complaining about how comics broke me because the professional standards, they don't pay us. Well, it's because your comics don't sell.
Yep.
But yeah, so it's a whole bunch of people just being super woke and like, oh, how come we can't force people to read our comic books? And when you literally have like, oh no, it wasn't Leslie Headland. It was who was that other crazy chick? The one who said, if you don't like my politics, then don't read my book. It's as simple as that. That one, that chick. I'll look it up. But yeah, there was a great response, and this is how it ends. We'll go back to the beginning. Okay, we're framing this, like a movie that starts at the end. The ending is the opening scene, and I bet you're wondering how we got here, right? Okay, so this is the end of the thread, where the psychopaths were attacking Ethan von Sciver. I think that's how you say his name. Saying he's an idiot, and they didn't even realize that he created their favorite characters. Now let's take it back and figure out how we got here. So people were complaining about comics broke me, and Thor Ordenson, he's a cool guy on Twitter, said, no, you broke comics. You took an industry that was on the upswing, which literally was. It was on the upswing, and you drove it right into the dirt by blacklisting talented creators for being conservative. Destroyed beloved characters and insulted fans who didn't like what you were doing with characters they grew up on and which you didn't create. And now, after actively working to drive away as many paying customers as possible, you're shocked that you're poor when you get these just horrible runs. The art is so bad. Lady Thor, so original, and they're just talking about their vaginas the whole time and girl power, whatever. Who gives a crap? And then somebody got a little bit upset. Oh, where's the response? Okay. Yeah, ISOM's doing well. Okay, we're gonna have to start from here, and then we'll go back until we get there. Watch. Oops. Okay, so you got the tweet. Okay, back in time. Someone responded, Comicsgate people are having trouble understanding this hashtag because there's never been a Comicsgate book with good art before. And this is what they're defending. And then you get people are like, are you joking? Right? This is the Ethan von Sciver, who will come into the story later. This is also Ethan von Sciver. No, that one's not. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. but like this is the stuff that comics used to look like. Okay,
Yeah.
and now they look like this. This is comics now. And these people are saying you've never seen good artwork before. And so just an example of the pathological dishonesty. And then the response is, these are some of the ugliest character designs I've ever seen. This is Cyberfrog. Right? This is Cyberfrog by Ethan Von Sciver. Yeah, he's not supposed to look attractive, but it's
Cyberfrog
really
is so
good
cool.
art. Cyberfrog is so cool, right? Like, you don't want to bang them, but they look good. The art is good. Okay, they're not.
It's
and
great.
then, so like they argue. These are some of the ugliest characters. And then Ethan, this is where he comes into the story. He's like, hey, you're making fun of my drawings, but I work really hard. And then they make fun of him. Sorry, we got to go back. Oh, okay. To this response, which is after Ethan Von Sciver entered the conversation, people tell him that he's a loser. Okay. Okay. You're did losing all of your work at the big two, DC and Marvel, break you? Does knowing that characters like Miss Marvel and Jessica Cruz have a bigger impact on comics than you could ever could have? Than you could ever have hurt. Sorry, that's poorly phrased. So he's trying to clown on Ethan Von Sciver. Little did he know, Ethan Von Sciver created Jessica Cruz. And Dust. And then after that, doubled down and tried to convince everyone, no, you never really created that character. And then Ethan Von Sciver posted receipts. These are his company emails. Like he did the cover and he was involved like the whole time. And they're still just in denial. Oh no, there's no way you created my favorite character. And he's like, sorry, I'm a Trump supporting MAGA comics guy, and I created Jessica Cruz. This is just how delusional these people are. They just live in denial, and even when you confront them with the absolute undisputable truth, they still can't.
They shut down, yeah.
They've never been asked to rationalize their position. Anyway, Phoebe Waller-Bridge confirms that she's working on a Tomb Raider series and plans to bring that to franchise. So we've got that to look forward to.
My God.
There's that. Michael Shannon is kind of freaking based, and I love him. And he said he turned down a Star Wars movie because he didn't find them very stimulating. And then someone tried to clown him. Oh, yeah, but he did that Superman movie. And he's like, well, I did it because I thought it was a one and done. And I read the story and it sounded cool. And the story's not bad. So, and he's on record saying, I hated working on The Flash. So he didn't want to be brought back. There's that. Michael Shannon's cool. Elon Musk declined an advertising deal with Bud Light because his principles come first.
Wow.
I disagree with like 90% of Elon Musk's politics. But I like the guy. I like him a lot.
Yep.
Garth Brooks had to cancel his bar because of the Bud Light thing. He came on saying, he opened a bar and he announced that he would only sell Bud Light there. And then a week later, funding's gone. Smith College drops the use of the word field because it's racist. And this person's making fun of him, saying, "Oh yeah, the classic movie, The Practicum of Dreams." But that leads us to the stinger. We gotta play it, guys.
Everything is racist. Everything is now white supremacy. When everything is racist, then nothing will be.
Anyway, you can't use the word field anymore. Field has been canceled. It's racist.
Did that
This
play
one's
for
fun.
anybody? Because it was just frozen for me the whole time.
Uh-huh.
What?
But it's funny how they call things like that racist, but then they go ahead and they do racist, blatantly racist things.
Well, it was the everything
They-
is racist stinger.
Yep.
If it didn't pack, it looks like it's.
Yeah, we can sing it.
I
Everything
saw
is racist.
I saw it.
I think it came through. I'm looking at
Mhm.
the stream now.
Okay.
looks like
Well, it was frozen for me. So
You know what the stinger is? It's the everything is racist stinger. Okay, it's my favorite stinger.
there you go.
Intimidating frog legs. Yeah, Cyber Frog is a cool comic. Ethan Watchhaber is a cool guy. Okay, there's one more thing. This is funny. So there's a new study that shows that states with more LGBTQ people have better economic growth. If you look at the study, this is their evidence.
It's in 2012.
So this is a scatter.
2010.
This is a scatter chart. How it works is you have data points right on the two axis, and then you try and find the trend. Right. This is where the correlation comes into effect. If there is a correlation, you will see that the line, the dots kind of line up with the line, and then you approximate what the line would look like, and you can find that's it. But the data that they have here
it's all over the place.
is nothing like the line. And people are just roasting them. This is neither causation nor correlation. This is a mathematical abomination. The coefficient is 0.02. If you know math, that's really bad.
Yep. Also, they have they're citing the one the tea leaves. That's good.
Okay.
They're citing the 1 year, the percent representation in 1 year, and then the y-axis is growth from a range of years.
Look, this, for example,
Like that
if you don't know maths, we're not going to get into the nitty gritty. This is what it's supposed to look like. Oh gosh, I just ruined it. Okay,
Oop.
This is what You've got a bunch of random points, and then you find the line that best approximates that, right? Or this. You can see there's a whole bunch of different points. There's a couple outliers, but you can see that there is a line there, right?
It's a pattern, yeah.
That's how this kind of stuff normally works.
Several outliers, but there's no line there.
In fact, there's a line going like up. It should be going this way. Oh, look at the coefficient. Anyway, so that is an example of how you can use statistics to just lie. Because technically there's a correlation. And then the Taika Waititi said something actually incredibly based. I'm not going to play the whole clip for you. You can look it up if you want. But he I'm a record. I like a lot of his films. I also dislike a lot of what he's done recently. But he said this. He said one of my favorite shows right now is Succession, and it's exclusively white people. And guess what? That is a diverse TV show.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to force in every single TV show one person of every race. That's not diversity. I 100% agree with what he's saying. It's so. Maybe he's coming back to the light. Maybe he'll make something good. I don't know.
I don't know. Then he goes ahead and tries to justify himself.
Some people say it's self-preservation. He's trying to say
he tries to explain it too much.
But it's true. It's true, and I'm not going to get mad at him for saying it. Not at all. And if his actions back up his words, heck, I'll support him. I'm not going to go in blindly and worship the guy now just because he said one thing that was based, but it's a step in the right direction for sure. And we got one more meme after all the sadness. Sodom and Gomorrah are wondering why America hasn't been obliterated yet. Happy Gay Month, everybody. Hope you
Good
guys are
point.
having a good gay month. That's the show.
Happy
That's the
Father's
show.
Day too.
Oh yeah, happy Father's Day.
Father's
I'm
Day.
a father.
Mhm.
Jared's brother's a father.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
Is Jared a father yet?
Sorry, no news here.
No. Okay. Sorry, your mom texted me.
No.
She wanted me to put a little pressure on you.
Yeah. Oh well.
That's funny.
Not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
She wants them grandkids.
Yep.
Anyway, well,
All right.
that's it. That's the show. I guess we'll be talking more Matt Johnson next week. Gosh,
Sorry.
Picard.
A secret
And-
team,
Secret, the Marvel
Vision.
show. We're watching the one with.
The Secret Show.
We're watching
Marvel.
one with.
Yep.
With Nick Fury in it.
Secret Warvasion.
Is anyone planning on watching The Flash? I just like. No, right?
I'll see it on HBO when it comes.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
going
watch
to
it
make
then.
a review about
Yeah.
it if I have time, but that's it.
Yep.
I'll watch it eventually. Sure. Not in theaters. Anyway.
It's decent.
Yeah, they resurrected Christopher Reeve, so
That was distasteful. Yeah.
I haven't heard, I'm pretty sure I don't know if Henry Cavill's in it. I haven't heard that spoiler yet,
He's like for some seconds.
but the fact that they replaced his
multiverse.
scenes with Supergirl is
Mhm.
offensive to me. I'm gonna read some comics and I'm gonna watch some Picard, and I'll see you guys next week. Also, go watch Ingramex's video on Primos. It was pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah,
I give
please
it a B.
leave a comment. Yeah, leave a comment, leave a like, please.
B
Great
plus.
That's a good number. I don't know.
Good lettering.
It's good. No, it's a really good video. Okay, it's an A minus.
All right.
It's A minus.
Better.
We love you guys. We'll see you.
Bye.
You. Bye.
Bye. I'm gonna send you guys the links in an email. I'm gonna send you
Sounds
all
good.
the links to the movies you're supposed to watch. So there's no excuse. Bye.
Bye.
And now it is time to say goodbye.
We had a great conversation.
It's been fun. But all good things must come to an end, and the goodest ending I can think of is.
Right now, this moment, this night.
So I guess we just say goodbye.
So, goodbye.
Toodaloo. Au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen. Ciao. Ding dao day. But come back next week for more outrageous bloopers.
This is the end.
Well, there's only one thing left to do.
I'm gonna go home and sleep with my wife.